Johnny Bench, Mike Schmidt, Tony Perez, Dave Parker, Eric Davis, Steve Carlton, Chris Sabo, Ryan Sandberg, George Foster, Paul O'Neill, and Pete Rose. That's just a few of the stars scheduled to appear at the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy game. You can't get this game on TV, but you can get it on the big one. Coverage begins with Sports Talk at 6 tonight, followed by the live play-by-play. It's another Diamond exclusive on 700 WLW, the big one.
Yes, he was my hero, too.
Pete Rose. I agree with you. I wish he were standing here with us right today. He belongs here. Pete Rose belongs here. What are they saying, Pete?
Ray Knight has placed a rose in the middle of the wishbone C behind home plate. That says it all.
Uh-oh, Tom Browning's at it. Spraying the number 14 on the pitcher's mound. How about that? All right. There we go.
Cincinnati and baseball. Since 1869, the two have gone together hand in hand. Whether called the Reds, the Red Stockings, or the Red Legs, Cincinnati has always and will always be a baseball town. And in 1970, something special happened to this town. A new ballpark, Riverfront Stadium, opened its doors. Special edition of Sports Talk. So sit back and relax and enjoy the moment. And now your hosts for tonight's special Sports Talk, Andy Berman, Bill Cunningham, and Bill Segman Dennison on 700 WLW.
Good evening, live from Cinergy Field. Billy Cunningham, I'm Andy Berman, and joining us around the box for the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy. The hit king, Pete Rose. Pete, great seeing you here. The feeling you got walking into this ballpark today.
Well, happiness, happy to be here, great fans. This is a fan game, Andy, Billy. We brought a lot of great players in here on the opposing team. Of course, the Big Red Machine guys and some of the guys from the 90 team, Paul O'Neill, 6 world championships, Tom Browning, perfect game. You know, other than my first hit at Crosby Field, most of my other milestones happened right here.
Bob Friend, a triple, 1963.
Yeah, but I got my 3,000 hit here, and I got my hitting streak started here. My 2 World Series titles with Cincinnati were here. 41-92 was here, and my last hit was here. So, man, what a lot of good memories we have here.
You know, yesterday, Pete, when we were here and watching what was going on.
What was something going on yesterday?
There was something called like the final game, but everyone was thousands of fans. I was there, Pete. Tom Browning goes out to the mound and paints 14 on it. Fifi LaRue wears a red rose. Your image and aura was everywhere, but the body of Pete Rose was not. The soul of Pete Rose was there, but not the body.
Well, I appreciate that. And you know where I was at, Andy, during all that celebration he's talking about? I was at Willie's watching football. I swear to God. And they had one TV had the Reds game on.
Well,
and the rest
most of the fans did not want to watch the Reds.
You got this group that comes in that roots for the Cleveland Browns.
Correct.
And they take half of the restaurant.
Correct.
And what a win they had yesterday.
They had a big win.
Yeah, the overtime.
Pete, tell us
and they end up having me with an orange shirt on with number 1 on it. Up there rooting for
Did you lose the betters?
No, just
he doesn't bet.
What are you talking about?
He doesn't bet. Don't use that word on
I'm sorry. And if you did, you wouldn't bet on the Cleveland Browns.
No, I'm just curious, Pete. How did this game get organized? What was the brainchild of this game?
Well, Mountain Marys, who I'm represented by, and the guy who worked there came up with the idea because Marty, the gentleman walking around in that gray shirt, did this same identical game in Denver with Joe Montana and John Elway when they closed Mile High Stadium. And they had 37,000 people. He did the same thing for Jim Kelly about a month ago, and they had 18,000 for just an induction for him making the Hall of Fame. And Marty put the game together.
And how tough was it to turn your armor on that and say,
well, we had Todd, one of the commissioners, was on our team, and once he got the ball rolling, Todd Patroon, and once he got it rolling, we were off and running, and they knew what to do because they did it in Denver. And you know, we invited the Reds to be a part of it. We invited Major League Baseball to be a part of it. And they thought for a couple of days, and they decided not to. And I told the guys that I'd be a part of it if Bench Morgan and Perez would come. And they said, well, get on the phone. So the first guy I called was Johnny. He was out in somewhere in a golf tournament. He said he'd be happy to play. Then I called Joe. Then I called Tony. Then I called Mike Schmidt. And I called Steve Carlton. And once I had those 5 willing to play, the rest are going to follow suit. Then we just added guys like Murphy and Sandberg and Parker. And then, you know, all the guys in the Big Red Machine want to be here. So it was pretty easy to put together.
Did Major League Baseball say no, they weren't interested as far as...
They did eventually, but, you know, they wished us luck. I mean, there was no bad blood there. I mean, I can understand their position, and but that's not going to stop the game. But when we did this, we didn't think it would be the last event at Riverfront, because when we started talking about this, the Reds were in first place.
Right.
And since we signed this deal, as you know, the bottom fell out, and we were hoping that the playoffs would start next week here in Cincinnati.
Clear something up for us, though, Pete. Yesterday they brought back about 50-plus ex-players, managers, coaches, and there were some people wanting to know why you were there, why you weren't there, were you invited? Were you invited by the Reds?
No, I wasn't invited, but I didn't expect to be invited.
Would there have been a fine?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Sure there would have been. And we don't need that, and the Reds don't need that. Just like they were going to fine him when I talked to the minor leagues down in Sarasota a couple of years ago. And you have to understand, I think the fans are tired of hearing about it, but we don't want to fight with the Reds. I mean, if I had my wish could come true, I wish my son was back in the Reds organization to make the team as a bench player, because he had a great year this year. But, you know, your heart's always in Cincinnati because I was born here. Like Billy, when we were born here. You were born in Brooklyn. We were born here. I mean, you know, your heart's in L.A. But we're
still in Brooklyn.
So, you know, it's just one of the things, and I would have preferred to have been there yesterday.
Are you surprised when we sat?
Man, my kid just went deep.
He just hit one almost in the seats, but the home run contest is going on. You might hear that in the background. But when this was announced a couple months ago, of course there was a hope that 40,000 would sell out. I think they ran up with close to 44,000. But is this a shock to you that 44,000 people, standing room only tickets, came out for you on this particular day?
Well, yes and no, Billy, and let me explain why. Because you never hear a crowd just for a softball game.
Never.
Okay?
Never.
But once I heard, and this is not a knock on anybody because I love this guy, that they had 43,000 here for Eric Davis bobblehead day.
Correct.
And they were going to have my bobblehead day. Then I had a strong suspicion it was going to sell out real quick.
It could have sold 85,000.
Yeah, the guy was very smart putting the bobblehead up. Because
Absolutely.
if you think about it, it's a heck of a deal for people.
It's not good or bad. It's not good or bad for baseball. Chris Sabo has told me, they did a Chris Sabo bobblehead, and Chris Sabo said it was the worst thing he's done in the last 2 or 3 years. Because in the mind of Chris Sabo, there's another home run for your son. It kind of, a doll-like character cheapens the sport or the athletic enterprise or the name. Do you feel...
No, it's no different than the little girls collecting Beanie Babies. What's the difference? I mean, you know, that's what the world is today, Billy, as you know.
There goes another Pete Rose.
It's promotion. It's how you promote yourself. Just like I got in some trouble at the Hall of Fame this year, and I'm not here to knock anybody, but a guy asked me, he said, hey, if you were commissioner, what would you do? And I looked him in the eye and said, I would fire everybody in the PR department that works for baseball. Because they have no idea what the hell they're doing. I mean, just like today, we're up there signing free autographs for the people. I mean, we wish we could have did it all day, but the lines were too long. I mean, you know, you can't get players today to do that. Right. I mean, public relations is what it's all about. I mean, my public relation career of 19 years in Cincinnati and 24 in baseball is one of the reasons that there's 40,000 here tonight. Johnny's public relations, Joe's public relations, Doggy's public relations. you know, all the guys here, Mike Schmidt's public relations. That's why we got 40,000 people.
But it blows me away because a year ago the big unit came to Cincinnati. They had 13,000 people. This is a meaningless softball game with great memories for sure, and it sold out the toughest ticket in Cincinnati this year. It amazes me. It really does.
Scalping tickets for $100.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but when we decided to do it, we kind of wish we could put them seats back up there so we could have that other 10, yeah.
Hey, let's talk about memories, because this stadium right here, beginning in June 30th, 1970, until you're retired, I think your last hit was in August of 1986. There's John Murdoch.
Great day for baseball, John. Great day for baseball.
Unbelievable. When you sit here and look at this field, what goes through the mind of Pete Rose?
World Series is in 70, 72, 75, 76. Obviously, first base, 41, 92. Hitting streak started right there off the Cubs and Dennis Eckersley. My last hit, last game I started, was the time I got the last hit. I got 5 hits in that game.
5 hits?
The last game I started, I was 5 for 5.
As far as bitter memories, do you have any bitter memories or nasty memories looking out on this field?
No, I don't think they're disappointing memories. 70, 72, not winning the playoffs in 73. But no, not as far as anything that happened off the field, because, you know, you make mistakes and you pay for your mistakes. And this is one town, this is one group of people that are willing to let me go on with my life.
Correct.
They understand that I made mistakes. I'm sorry I made the mistakes, and they let me go on with my life. And they continue to like me because I don't hide from any questions or anything like that.
Right.
So,
Is it conceivable?
George Foster just went deep.
I'd say
He hit a car. He might have won somebody a car. They got bullseyes on cars out there. And if somebody hits the bullseye, there's a person in the audience wins a new car. There's 3 cars out there.
You know, when Billy just asked you about memories, I'm surprised you didn't mention coming back here for your first game when you head first.
That was big too.
That was
big too, because I had the right guy pitching, Dick Ruffin. I could hit him, and the first time up, I hit the ball that skidded by Bob Denier. And I remember I stood in the third head first, and it was really hot that night. My uniform was just dusted. And I looked in the dugout, and Don Zimmer was sitting there crying, because we went to the same high school, and our dads played on the same Little League team. And he had goosebumps for me coming back. That was a lot of electricity,
and he
too.
plans to head first tonight.
No, I wish I could, Andy, but I can't get enough speed to do it.
Can you believe Pete Rose?
I don't have no knees.
No knees? Can you believe Pete Rose is 61 years old? I mean, to me, you spoke to my Knothole club in October of 1963. You might not remember this, at Hartselle United Methodist Church.
Foul ball.
And
that's out of here.
When I think of Pete Rose being 61 years old, I'm saying that's impossible. Where have the years gone?
Well, 19 of them were right here.
Right there.
And 24 of them were in baseball.
Yeah.
And you know, the mind-boggling thing to me, Billy, is I got suspended 13 years ago, 1989. This is 2002.
August of 89.
Yes. Just had an anniversary.
It's unbelievable.
And Bin Laden didn't help me out because he ruined my anniversary. 9/11.
September the 11th, 1985.
Yeah, he ruined 9/11.
So you have no good feelings toward Osama bin Laden?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Is there, of course you're not a betting man, but is there...
Not anymore, I used to be.
Is there any
So
way...
did Andy, he used to work at the track.
He used to bet together.
On God's green earth, that Pete Rose will ever be in Cooperstown?
Yeah, I think so.
It will happen?
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
Because I just think that there's so much positive talk about me, and I do a lot of positive things for the game. I mean, regardless if you like me or not, Bud Selig, this is good for the game of baseball.
Oh.
This is good for the game of baseball. I'd be willing, well, I don't want to bet on this, but I mean, I don't know how many games are being played today, but I bet we'll have one of the biggest crowds of any team playing today.
There's two major league.
Well, let them all play tomorrow night. Just take tomorrow night.
Does he come in contact with you and look at some of these events that you do as almost a slap in the face to him?
No, not at all. He shouldn't, because I'm trying to help him. I mean, I defended him to no end about the All-Star game. That was not Bud Selig's fault at the All-Star game. You cannot put Bud Selig in that position as a manager of a baseball team. You cannot run out of players. But I do blame him for the atmosphere. What I mean by that is this, that if you're going to tolerate, a couple years ago, Tommy Lasorda coaching third, he's out of baseball. If you're going to tolerate Rudy Giuliani and the son in the dugout, if you're going to tolerate Posada's kid running up to the line when he's introduced, then and the people are going to tolerate that, then you can't get me after games of time. But now if you're going to be a competitive game and you want a competitive game, then you can't run out of players. So he created the laid-back atmosphere on the bench, but he didn't create the situation of running out of pitchers.
Right. Speaking of pitchers, these home runs being hit right now, Foster just hit another one.
And you know Dibble wants to knock somebody on their ass.
It
Right?
is Dibble, and I haven't noticed him close up, but how many tattoos does this guy have?
53. Dibble! Dib! Hey, Dib! Look at him.
That's gone.
Just be, what kind of response do you get from these guys you haven't seen in years?
Great. The best response I got, Andy, is they're here.
Yeah? But the only one...
I mean, Dale Murphy, I hope his plane got in, but Dale Murphy don't do much. He don't do much.
But Mike Smith's been the only one who's really been outspoken.
Well, because Mike is my man. Mike is my man. But there again, I don't like or dislike somebody because they're not outspoken about me. Because I don't want anybody to get any trouble or lose any fans or get in the doghouse with Bud Sears or anybody like that. I understand Joe's got a job on ESPN, and he can't defend me like he'd like to. I understand that. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. But, because I'm the one that got myself in this position, and I can't get mad because Johnny don't defend me or Joe or Tony or somebody like that. I mean, I know that I would not be here.
Another home run for George Foster. He's hitting them out like he did back in '77.
What, he hit 52 that year?
Yeah, 52.
Yeah, because, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be here tonight if the other three big members of the Big Run Machine weren't here.
If they said no.
The game would have been meaningless what's the sense of me and Joe and Tony being here without Johnny? Or what's the sense of me and Johnny and Joe being here without Tony? And I have to tell you this, too. We invited Sparky, too, because Sparky had something to do in New York today. He was here yesterday. And Sparky was another one we called.
I think it's a credit. Dave Parker's here tonight. He wasn't here yesterday.
Sure. So Sabo.
If Reds fans believe that there's something between Rose and Bench, what would you say about that? That there's some animosity?
I'm getting a little tired of that too because, I keep reading reports now and then that when we played we didn't get along.
Correct.
It's untrue. That's the farthest thing from the truth. We couldn't have had the kind of team we had if we didn't get along. And now someone's going to say, well, the Oakland A's did. Well, the Oakland A's the people didn't get along with Charlie O, the owner. I mean, Campaneris got along with Tennis got along with Rudy. They all got along. I used to have an automobile dealership with Johnny. I had a bowling alley with Johnny. I took him under my wings when he came up. The only problem we started having was when I got in trouble and Johnny kind of become an expert on it. Now he's backed off. He's got an opinion. He's allowed to have his opinion like everybody else. All I like to say about Johnny, I hope he's a friend of mine because he's the greatest catcher you or I will ever see play. And I wish I didn't have to say that because I wish we could see another Johnny Bench. I mean, I think that the kid from Texas is probably a defensive catcher better than Johnny, and Piazza is probably an all-around better offensive catcher than Johnny, but the best from top to bottom is Johnny Bench. He's the greatest catcher you and I will ever see.
Now, you made the phone call. You said he was the first call you made about the game. What was his response? No problem, Pete, I'm there?
Great. Great. And he said, whatever you're going to pay me, I want it to go to my scholarship fund. And we appreciate that so much that we decided to give him 50 cents of each program to a scholarship fund.
How much we're talking about? We're talking 20,000.
He's getting paid pretty good.
Yeah. Now you look at the crowd here
but that's
tonight.
okay. I mean,
Right, and next year they're closing down the vet in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Will they do something like that in Philly?
We already put a reservation in for that.
So you'll be back there with the guys?
I hope so because you have to kind of mold that game after the 1980 team.
Do the Phillies? I haven't met you. You were there. I wasn't. I don't have a sense that Philadelphia has the same feeling for their Phillies when you won the world title there as the Cincinnati has for the Reds. 75.
Billy, I don't know if I'm going to differ with you or not, but I'm going to tell you one thing about it. That the most awesome sight I've ever witnessed in baseball was the post-1980 World Series parade. Billy, when we got in those floats downtown and went out Broad Street to JFK Stadium, there was 1 million people in the streets.
Parker just hit one in the Licking River.
And then when we got out to JFK, there was 130,000 waiting for us. Now, I know we had a parade here when we were in the Jeeps and we had to get out and go through the hotels. We couldn't get through. But you have to remember one thing. The people of Philadelphia in the Delaware Valley, they waited 97 years for that World Championship. And I'll never forget when I went back in the wintertime, people would just stick their hand out and say thanks. And they smile.
97 years.
They haven't won a World Series in 97 years, and they haven't won one since.
Do you have special feelings? Someone said this to Andy Firm the other night on Sports Talk, that the 1990 World Championship team was Pete's team. In other words, Pete Rose should have got a ring.
Let me explain that, okay? Yes, but no. And I must tell you this. If I had the 4 additions that they had, the years I finished second, I'd have won 4 National League pennants. They had, Randy Myers had a great year. They had Glenn Bragg had a career year. They had Billy Hatcher that had a career year. And they had one more guy that had a career year. They had 4 guys that had career years that I didn't have. And if I'd had those 4 guys, I'd have won when I finished second. We just weren't quite good enough. You got to remember, we took over a team that was last place in 82 and 83, and they were dead last when I got here in 84, as you guys remember. And we finished 5th that year. We made one jump. Then the next 4 or 5 years, we finished second. So if I'd have been a basketball coach, they'd have said he did a hell of a job turning that program around. But people didn't look at it like that. They looked at it as we failed because we only finished second.
But has anybody in the game ever approached you off the record and said, Pete, if and when you get back into baseball reinstated, we want to hire you as manager with our club?
I can't divulge that. You know, I would certainly entertain the thought of being a manager. And there's only a couple places I'd like to manage.
Here's one. No question.
This is the number 1 place. I mean, because I believe they're building that new stadium over there because they want an ass on every seat every night there's a game.
I'm sure they do.
They do.
Just like tonight. I mean, and you know, I understand, Mr. Linder, you got to put money into the program, but let's win some games and get some people out.
You ever talk to him, to Mr. Linder?
He's a great guy. And I know he's got a manager under contract right now, but I would love, because I'm a teacher. I mean, you guys were here when I managed. How many young players did I bring along? How many are here tonight? Dibble's here. Browning's here. O'Neill's here. Sabo's here. You know, I mean, I'm going to miss some. I mean, they're all here. All these guys. Eric Davis. I mean, these guys all were rookies when I came up. Browning pitched a perfect game for me. I mean, you got to have young players and you got to have older players. So, I love the game. I'm still young enough that I can help the game. And, but time's running out.
Yeah, and you talk about potentially getting back.
But I'm a young 6'1".
But what are you doing? No doubt about that. But what are you doing on a daily basis to try to get back in, if anything?
Well, there's not much I can do because they don't answer your mail or anything. Just do things like
your attorney's working on it?
Yeah, but Andy, I like to sit here and tell you, but to be honest with you, I can't afford attorneys to take on baseball, and that's what it would boil down to. I have to. Everybody I talk to says that. Like we did a couple games with Gorman Thomas, who works for Milwaukee, and he told me Bud's a great guy and a great fan. And I just had to figure out a way to get an audience. If I get an audience with, I could get an audience with the Pope easier than I could with.
But a private audience, you don't want
and I'm not even Catholic.
I mean, and so Pete Rose couldn't call New York Bud Selig, I'm coming up, I'd like to see you. You never get to the guy.
I don't know.
Or Milwaukee?
I don't know. I don't know. But see, Billy, it's just, you know me pretty well, and I don't even know what I say. That's out of here.
Gary Carter's like
I don't even know what I say to him because I don't know what I say to him until I look at him, look right in the eye, and hear what he has to say. It's just like when I'm talking at a Jewish temple tomorrow night from Milk Cantor. Yeah, you're there, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about until I see the mood of the crowd.
Yeah. Could you hang with us? We got to go to news. Can you hang with us a few more minutes?
Until I'm introduced.
There you go. Okay, we got news time on the big one. This is the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy with Pete Rose and Billy Cunningham. They're with him on 700 WLW.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for a kid? Before you teach him how to throw a curveball, teach him how to peel a Chiquita banana. They're great every day for a healthy heart and a healthy life, and they're easier on the old arm. Chiquita, perfect for life.
It's the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy, live from Cinergy Field with Pete Rose, Billy Cunningham, and Achilles Smith, the special guest tonight on Bengals Line on 1360, the sports animal Homer, and Rich Tavern. Back to Pete again. Where were we, Billy? I forgot.
We were at the point of saying...
Well, what's he doing with his attorneys, if anything, and to get back in on a daily basis? And do you sit and wait? Do you want to get an audience with...
Yeah, you're like, you know, you hate to say this, but you're like at the mercy of... I wasn't pulling for no strike in baseball, but... because I'd never like to see anybody get fired. But I think if they'd had a strike, Bud Selig would have been in trouble. Bob DuPay's the guy that really did the work on that.
Yeah. Are you surprised it settled the way it did?
No, because, you know, with an average salary $2.3 million, you can't afford to walk out. And I don't think it's a situation where people wouldn't come back. They've always come back.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't come back in Philadelphia and Montreal since the '94 strike. But people in Cincinnati they'd always come back.
So your take is that basically if Bud Selig should be removed from office, be it by other owners or age?
No, I don't know.
You got to do a shot.
You know what's amazing? Because I asked Norman Thomas, I said, because at the All-Star game is the first time, to my knowledge, that Bud Selig ever got booed in a white uniform. He was in Milwaukee, and they tore him apart. You know, we all get booed in a gray uniform. The worst thing in the world is get booed in a white uniform.
We get booed in a wear uniform.
And just like when you go to the Hall of Fame every year, and Bud gets out of the car, and people are standing around the Hall of Fame, they start booing and yelling at him. I don't give a darn who you are. You can't like that.
No.
I mean, David Stern don't get booed. Paul Tagliabue don't get. Bettman don't get booed. I mean, you can't like that. I mean, and I certainly believe if he give me an opportunity to be reinstated, that some of those boos would turn to cheers. I have to believe that.
Do you see a course of conduct that he said, do this, do that, and you're in? Is that what you see happening? I don't know what to do might be because...
I don't care. I'm willing to listen to anything he's got to say. I mean, I know one thing I have to do, Billy, and you know it as well as I. You're an attorney. I have to make it easy for Bud. I have to take Bud's ass off the platter of the press.
That's right. No, would you be willing to cut a deal saying, look, let me go to the Hall of Fame,
No.
I'll stay out of baseball?
No, hell no.
You want it all?
Because
that ball's way out of here. Well, Ryan Sandberg just hit one.
I'd rather be on the field than in the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yes.
You rather
and I don't mean that as a jab to baseball, but I know what kind of player I was. I mean, you guys understand this more than anybody listening to us talk right now. I'm a baseball person. I started playing baseball in the Naho League at the age of 9 and retired when I was 45. I mean, I'm a teacher of the game. I'm a lover of the game. I understand the game. I'm sound fundamentally. So I do a lot of things. I'm a baseball person. I belong in baseball. I don't belong going around the country doing talks and stuff like that. I belong in baseball.
But you can't control that, Pete. If Bud Selig would say, we're going to put you on the ballot after whatever, and then it happens, you can't control that.
Oh, no. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to go to the Hall of Fame. It would be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. But what I'm saying is, my biggest ambition is not going to the Hall of Fame. My biggest ambition is to try to repay baseball for everything it's done for me, and the only way to do that is be back in the game.
And once you get that in, you know that's going to open the door to the Hall of Fame anyway.
You have to think so.
Well, it definitely would. There's no doubt about
George won the Hall of Fame championship.
George Foster won it.
Go ahead, Billy.
One last question, because you got to get... Marge shot yesterday here next to you because you weren't announced and your name was everywhere. But Marge shot received the largest ovation of anyone associated with the Reds. Maybe outside, I think Bench and Perez. Joe Morgan couldn't make it because ESPN. Are you surprised that Marge Shaw continues to have such popularity despite having been kicked out of baseball in a sense?
Yeah, because I think that people in this town understand Marge, and she's not going to change in the way baseball handled her wasn't very close.
It was lousy.
Yeah.
It was lousy.
Yeah.
One last question. I know you got to get ready for the intro. Is there a knot in your stomach tonight? Are you a little nervous going into
Not yet.
But there will be.
Maybe.
More so than any other game you ever played?
Oh, no, not that far. Just...
It's not the playing part you're nervous about.
No, it's oh, say, can you sing?
Your daughter's singing that.
Yeah, I was singing. Yeah.
You're nervous for her.
You got to run.
Right with her.
Pete, you're the best.
All right, man, take care.
God bless you and Godspeed.
See you, Pete.
Andy, let's continue with more Andy Furman, Billy Cunningham, Pete Rose, you're the best, live from Cinergy Field. By the way, for those keeping records, George Foster won the home run hitting contest, I think with, how many did he hit? 8 home runs. And it was, Gary Carter was second with 7, Ryan Sandberg, Pete Rose Jr., Munoz, and then Dave Parker. Let's continue with more. This is the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy on the big one, 700 WL. The Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy with Billy Cunningham live from Cinergy Field till 9 o'clock tonight. Special guest now, your good golfing partner and friend, Chris Sabo. I quit playing him when he wanted me to give him one aside and I refused.
I understand he owes you some money.
I think $50, but we'll let that pass for now.
Is that true?
No, it isn't true.
So he's the manager now, you know.
He is, of the Florida
team. Yes.
Sabes, why are you here? What brought you in tonight? And
I'm here for the glory.
For the glory of the team?
I don't know. I mean, I'm here because Pete asked me to be here.
Well, what are your feelings toward Pete? He mentioned he started a bunch of young players. You were one of the younger guys who came up and gave you a shot. What are your feelings about Pete Rose?
Well, he's the one that believed in me and gave me my shot, so that's why I'm here. And, you know, if he didn't call out, I wouldn't have showed up.
Really?
No, I'm not into the stuff like this. You know,
and you had said, maybe it was with the fur ball, and I want to get this on the record about the bobblehead. You had said somewhere after the Chris Sabo bobblehead night that one of the worst things you did was allow a Chris Sabo bobblehead. What did you mean by that?
Oh, it's
stupid?
No, it's just I get asked about it every day. It's not good.
It's like you're relevant to your baseball legacy and your career.
I care less about my baseball legacy. I just don't like being asked about the bobbleheads every day.
I'm sorry. I brought it up.
No, yeah, this has been going on. I don't know when that bobblehead thing was, but it's been every day.
Well, let's talk about Pete as a manager. You played for Pete. Everybody said Pete was a player's manager.
Yeah.
You played for many. What is a player's manager? What kind of a manager was Pete to you?
A player's manager, I don't know what that really means. He just he allowed you to make mistakes. He just wanted you to play hard and do the best you can. And if you show up on time and play hard, you didn't have a problem with him. And he gave you a little bit of leeway as far as, you know, you could go 0 for 10, 0 for 15 without throwing the panic. I mean, Pete played, obviously. He was a great player. So he understood you were going to go in slumps, and he didn't panic.
And you're going to be managing next year in Florence in the Independent Frontier League.
Yeah.
And what have you taken away from Pete as a manager that you'll be using next year?
Well, I'll take a combination of all the guys that I've had as a manager, plus my own ideas and stuff. But I think I'll be a pretty good players manager. I'll give guys leeway. You know.
Well, what is the word now about Pete on the outs trying to get back into baseball? What are players like you who played? Is there a feeling of like he's got a broad deal, he's got a bum deal, they should give him a break, it's bad for baseball that he's not in? What's the general take?
Andy, I'm so far removed, I don't even know what the word is. I'm not in baseball, and I know my personal feelings, but as far as a general take on it, I don't know.
Well, what are your personal feelings that he's on the outside looking in?
Well, I say unless they could prove that he bet on baseball when he was a player, I don't see where the difference. He didn't get those numbers as a manager. He was a good manager, but he's not Hall of Fame material because of his managing.
Well, Chris,
he's Hall of Fame material because of his playing career.
The commissioner signed an agreement with Pete in which the commissioner said in writing he makes no finding you bet on baseball. The commissioner said that, and so I'm thinking that's it.
Well,
that's it. You make no finding means no finding.
Well, you're the lawyer. You would know.
I know.
I don't know any of the fine details. I try to avoid all controversy like that. But I liked him. Obviously he was a good ball player, and I find it hard to believe that anybody could tell me that Pete wouldn't try his best when he played.
And you showed up here tonight. Would you, Chris Sabo, show up in Cooperstown if he was elected to the Hall of Fame?
I don't know about that. I'd be happy for him. I'd be happy for him.
If he asked you to come, would you show up?
If they called you.
Yeah, if he asked me to come, yeah, of course.
What were your thoughts about yesterday?
How did you get to Cooperstown?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I'm going to get a Winnebago to get there.
Get a map quest on the computer.
Hey, it's in the middle of New York. I know that.
What were your thoughts about yesterday?
I really had no thoughts.
Did you enjoy it?
I wasn't here. I don't know.
The point is, why weren't you here?
Well, my kids had soccer games.
Oh, but the Reds did ask you.
Yes.
And you said, I can't make it, I got to go watch soccer.
Yeah, well, I'm not into that too much.
Yeah.
I love the Reds, but who wants to see has-beens? We're all has-beens.
In a sense, but there's 45,000 people here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And there's 45,000 people.
I find it very interesting. I didn't realize there'd be this many people here.
Are you shocked?
I am pretty shocked.
I am. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Now, you check the box scores at every day.
They're going to have to watch us run, though, and that could be sad.
It could be very sad.
That could be very sad.
Well, I don't think
they have falling down.
But you check the box scores, I'm sure, on a daily basis. Tomorrow morning, you open the paper. This game may have more people than any other game in the majors tonight. It could be. It really, and that amazes me.
Or tomorrow night.
Really? Maybe 40,000
Obviously, I mean, they're here for one reason, obviously.
The same reason you're here.
Yeah, for Pete. Pete's a great guy. I mean, I would never say anything bad about him. He gave me my chance, always believed in me. He wanted me to come here and play, so that's why I'm here. It's the first time I put on baseball spikes in 5 years.
But you'll be with the Florence team starting...
Yeah, put them on next year.
Next year?
Next May.
You're going to be like a manager.
Yeah, manager.
If there's
Jack of all trades, groundskeeper.
you're going to do it all.
Oh, wash jocks.
He's giving them golf, though, Billy.
Are you giving up golf?
yeah.
My body's falling apart.
Your back hurts, doesn't it?
My back and neck, yeah.
What about those trips could be rough on the back, those days?
Yeah, but what do I have to do? Just fill out a rental card.
And get on the bus.
Get on the bus. I can sit and I can fill out, I can write. I can sit and write.
You can sit and write.
I can be a manager.
You know what? That qualifies us.
Where's Bode?
We can do the same thing.
I can sit and write.
Billy, you and I can do that. We can sit and write.
Where's Bode? I think Ron Oster's with Jim Bowden somewhere.
I don't think he shook his hand yet. They're going to check on that with Oster.
There he is.
We'll get Oster over here and ask about that.
Lastly, is there one or two things you learned from Pete Rose as a player playing for him you're going to translate to when you're a manager with your players?
The only thing was, believe it or not, Pete was a very excitable player and as a manager. But dealing one-on-one, Pete was believe it or not, a very patient guy. I know you find it hard to believe. And I think I would take that. Pete, if he believed in you, he believed in you. And like I said before, he'll give you a long rope. You pretty much got to hang yourself. He's not going to, you go 2 or 3 games on your hits, he's not going to throw a panic button.
I think he saw a little bit of himself in you as a player. I really do. Got the uniform dirty, hustle. He liked that in you. Called you Spuds. He gave you the nickname Spuds, didn't he?
2 ugly fellas running around. 2 ugly fellas.
As far as your memories on this field, looking out here, you're not a real emotional guy. You don't
I have no memories of this field.
He got emotional when they wanted me. This field, Fountain Square.
I've never played in this field, so this field has no memories for me. None. Grass are totally open.
You don't know this stadium at all. Never been here before.
Never been here before.
You did get emotional then. We got the ring, we got this, we got it all. Now, where is the ring now?
I'm sorry I said that too.
Really?
People ask me about that weekly.
Where is the ring?
Where is the ring?
Huh?
Where's the money? Where's the ring?
I don't know. I keep it in my nose every once in a
Keep it in
while.
your nose? All right,
guys.
Good luck tonight.
Behave yourself, Sage.
I'll try to hit one.
Try to hit one out. Hit one for the babe.
There you
All
go.
right, Chris Sabo. A rather, shall we say, a different individual. But
Yeah, well, a good guy.
he's a great guy, but he
genes.
a little bit different.
Yeah,
a little different. But people think you're a little different.
No, I understand.
I'm normal. If you didn't know me, you'd know no one normal at the station. So
Is there anybody normal at the station?
I am. I'm normal.
I asked Rob Dibble to come on, and I don't...
Well, he gave you a look.
Give me a look like...
If looks could kill, you'd be dead right
I mean,
now.
if his face would freeze like that, he'd be arrested.
I mean, he had that scrawly look at you.
Well, I don't know why. I wanted to talk about his tattoos.
But when you played about 30,000 times the voicemail, that might have had something to do with it.
I didn't do that.
You didn't.
Promotions department.
Russ Jackson did that.
No, promotions department did that.
Russ Jackson. All right. Well, let's continue with more, and we have many more activities from Cinergy Field. This place is packed. The Pete Rose, the bobblehead, all have been given out, but the most exciting thing is whenever Pete Rose or
Well, not
Arnie
all.
Metz, Joe Morgan...
We didn't get any.
Well, Arnie Metz tells us we're going to get 1 or 2 bobbleheads. We're going to hold them to that. But whenever Morgan, you got Morgan, Perez, and you got Bench, you have Rose, Sparky Anderson had a conflict, and some of the other great stars that are here are really unbelievable, Andy.
Well, I think it's a great movement, and it says Dave Parker. See it tonight. He wasn't here yesterday.
He was a Popeye chicken
And
all
he lives
day.
in Cincinnati.
He lives here.
So what does that tell you?
Well, Sabo wasn't here yesterday, but he's here today because Chris's kids played soccer. So you have to watch the kids play soccer, right?
There you go.
Instead of coming to the
Family
last game
first.
Cinergy Field.
Family first.
I would think so, yeah. Maybe he's got to wash his underwear and maybe miss tonight. I don't know. Well, let's continue with more. 6:52, Billy Cunningham and the fur ball. Live from Cinergy Field, the Pete Rose farewell to Cinergy continues.
The Pete Rose farewell to Cinergy continues. We're live from Cinergy Field. Billy Cunningham here, and the pride of the Yankees, number 21, Paul O'Neill. I'll tell you what, honestly, I never cared for you that much in Cincinnati. You know that, although you named your son after me. But when you became a Yankee, things turned quickly because I'm a Yankee guy. And you got to tell me the truth in your heart of hearts. It's a different animal going up there watching the monuments, putting the pinstripes on. You became a different kind of guy. I even mentioned to people here tonight, I saw you walking today in the clubhouse. You had a different air about you.
You said I had 2.5 minutes. I'm out of here.
Come on.
I hate people that are wordy and
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
But compare and contrast, Paulie, if you can. 1990 on one hand, and you have to play for that East Coast club for those many years. It had to be a downfall for you.
Bill, I tell you what, let's face it, Yankee Stadium is something special. There's no doubt about it. And winning a World Series in Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati was, at the time, the best thing that ever happened to me in my sports career. But when you go to New York and you're part of a team that continues to win and with the tradition, it's a great place to play. But as soon as I'm finished playing, I sold my place there, and I'm living in Cincinnati, so it tells you something.
All right, now, as far as the Hall of Fame, many have said you're on the cusp, you're close. If you go into Cooperstown, are you wearing a Reds hat or a Yankees hat?
I never even thought about it. I don't think I'm going to have to. I think the first agenda here is to get Pete in the Hall of Fame, and then we'll worry about the rest of the people later.
Now, you moved out of baseball. You become one of us now. You're a commentator. How tough was that to kind of criticize at times maybe some guys you played with?
Well, I mean, I try not to, because I realize sitting on the side of the field or looking on television how much easier it is, or how easy the game looks. But you try to tell the truth. I mean, I'm never going to be in your shoes. I'm never going to sit back here and just criticize people day after day after day.
You have no respect for us now.
But you're right. I mean, it's been fun. I've done some stuff up in New York, and this is the fun time of year when they get ready for the playoffs.
They loved you in New York. They did. I don't know why, but they did.
I was very fortunate. I went there at the right time. I mean, I left here after we won the championship in '90. The team started going down a little bit, and went to the Yankees, and the team started going up to the point where, we were in the playoffs year after year. And that's, as a player, I mean, you can't ask for anything more.
How was your relationship with George Steinbrenner? He often said you were like his favorite player
the
on
Warrior.
the club. He said he had ultimate respect for you. You're now doing Yankees TV games. Is that correct? You're doing 30 or 40 television games for George Steinbrenner. Do you see yourself getting back into baseball on the field as a coach, minor league manager, things of that character?
I don't know. I mean, I was basically just feeling out how if I enjoyed the television thing, and it has been good just to go up to New York and stay with the Yankee organization. But I don't have a bad thing to say about George Steinbrenner. He's an owner who likes to win, that continually brings in players that build that team up with a chance to win. And people in New York expect you to win, so he's always got that knocking on the door, too.
They talk about New York being the fishbowl of the media and the media capital of the world, but really and truly, with so many teams in New York City, you could almost hide a little bit, maybe more so than playing in Cincinnati, where it's all Reds every day, 24/7.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, sports is, they either love you or they hate you. I mean, if you play well, they love you. If you don't do, they want you out of town. So it's not just New York. That's the nature of sports. But I played in New York at a time where the city became very, Yankee-oriented, Yankee fans, and it was just a great experience.
How come you never did a Saturday Night Live, or did you? I missed it.
We kept all that stuff for Jeter, man. Yeah, he was still single, and he needed to do all that stuff to keep his image up.
Who's a better manager, Joe Torre or Pete Rose? If you had to play for one manager, would it be Pete Rose or Joe Torre?
Well, at certain times in my career, I mean, coming up and when Pete was managing and I was just coming up, I mean, you couldn't pick a better person to pretty much emulate your career after and watch these guys take the field. And then going to the perfect situation in New York with Joe Torre, just that laid-back, soft-spoken, you need that sometimes in New York. So in certain times of your career, I played for two great managers.
Very political, I would say. Yes, he is. He's an announcer now. What do you expect? Now, you look at the crowd here tonight, sold out. I mean, it's a softball game. It's a meaningless softball. Does that not, say, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, let's face it. This is a tribute to Pete Rose. Anybody that this city was dying to show that, they back Pete Rose, the players that have played for him and against him in the other dugout. I mean, Pete Rose is baseball when you're in Cincinnati. There's no doubt. I mean, coming into the ballpark today, you turn down Pete Rose's way to get to the ballpark. To me, I mean, the guy is the all-time hit leader, and the Hall of Fame doesn't mean as much as when he's not in.
If you're in charge, if you're the commissioner of baseball in 20 years, do you make Pete Rose eligible for the Hall of Fame?
I don't think it should take 20 years. I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, everybody's got their opinions, but in my opinion, he's what he did on the field, his credentials, there's no doubt he should be in Cooperstown.
How would you compare him to the great players you played with in New York? The Jeters, the Williams. You didn't play with Giambi, you played against him in Oakland. How do you compare Pete Rose to that group?
Well, I think that his worth ethic is what everybody remembers. Just, his hard-nosed going out, playing every single day. Sports have changed a lot over the past 15, 20 years. And, I grew up watching Cincinnati Reds baseball, living in Columbus, Ohio. So those, if you take that away from the Big Red Machine, those guys, the way they played the game, I mean, they were awesome role models.
Who wins the 1990 Reds teed up against the 2000 Yankees, both World Series champs in fantasy baseball? Who wins the series?
That's a tough one, man.
Okay,
it'd be a Game 7. I don't know.
Game 7?
He's getting ready to leave, but don't leave yet. Here's the question. Pete Rose been a National League lifer, okay? You go over to the American League. What was the response in the clubhouse from your teammates say, hey, you played for Pete Rose, what kind of guy was he? I'm sure a lot of questions came at you.
Yeah, there's always, I mean, you know, people, when you come back here, you know, what's Joe DiMaggio like? What's Mickey Mantle like? What's, you know, Yogi Berra like? And then when you go to New York, you know, what's Tony Perez? What's Pete Rose? I mean, anybody that hasn't met these guys want to know what type of people they are, because everybody, you know, watched them on television and just wanted to, you know, to be fans of them.
So what was he like? What kind of questions?
Who are you asking?
I mean, you came to New York and you did, everybody in the clubhouse knew you played for Pete. They said, hey, you played for Pete Rose. What is he like? Did he gamble?
Well, no, as a manager, I mean, you came to the ballpark, he put you in the lineup, he expected you to go out and play hard. He didn't put pressure on you as far as just go out and give an effort. And you know, as a player, when you're playing 162 games, I mean, that's what you need. You don't need some guy over there, you know, criticizing you in the paper and bogging you down with things. I mean, just put you in the lineup and expect you to play hard. That's all.
And the first time you went to that Yankee clubhouse, knowing that Ruth, Garrick, DiMaggio played in that clubhouse, and the first time maybe you met Yogi Berra, maybe the late Mickey Mantle, if he happened to stop by, and those guys, what was that like?
Well, I mean, again, when you walk down that tunnel, there's the pictures of Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth walking down that same tunnel. When you take the field, you know, those memories are still there. The monuments are still out there. So the tradition, I mean, you can't get away from it.
You played with Roger Maris play.
Yeah, you cannot get away from that feeling when you get into Yankee Stadium, because it is something special.
The ghosts.
Well, Paul, good to have you here. Bring home a winner. I think I'm happy you're back in Cincinnati where you belong, because New York is a lousy town, I think, to live in, but a great town to play baseball in.
There's no doubt. I mean, is it
bad to live in?
It's one of the it's the most unbelievable place in the world to be at certain times. But to raise children and raise your family, Cincinnati, Ohio is fine with me.
All right, Paul O'Neill, God bless you, and thank you very much. All right, Furball, let's continue with more. I think we're a moment or two from players' introductions and things of that character, which we're going to carry for you live. Is that correct, Russ Jackson? So let's take a short break, and we'll try to time this so you'll hear the actual introductions of all these fabulous All-Stars and Hall of Famers here at the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy on 700 WLW. The Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy. Just about ready for the player introductions live from Cinergy Field. And by the way, Rick's Tower tonight on 1360 home of the sports animal. Bengals Lion Dave Lapham, Brad Johansson, and Achilles Smith do there as well. So that's starting quarterback now.
I understand Dick LeBeau made that decision this afternoon, but they're getting ready for player introductions, and we'll get those live right here from the PA announcer John Walton, who, by the way, will be the very last PA announcer ever to echo a sound at this ballpark.
And he's leaving the Reds here.
It's going to the Hershey Bears.
What is that? Hockey?
American Hockey League.
Hockey League?
Yes.
John Walton of the Reds, or is he going to be a hockey announcer?
Well, he used to call the Cincinnati Mighty Ducks.
Well, that's good. He's a very good announcer. He's getting ready to play. So we're going to go to that in a minute, but later on we're going to have on Tom Brady.
Let me ask you about your feeling. You're born and bred here in town, and you've been to this ballpark many times as a little tyke.
Yeah.
What is it like for you to see this place go away?
Having watched and been at the last game of Crosley, Crosley was about your heart, and I think Cinergy Riverfront is about your head. There was not the feeling. Crosley Field, when it went down in 1970, was in a sense good riddance, because it was in a bad area. You had to pay money to have your car protected, and but it had a certain aura, which was Wally Post, Ted Kluszewski, Gene Freese, Roy McMillan, Easy Ed Bailey. It had the terrace, it had the scoreboard in left field, and it had been there for like 60 years, and it did not nearly have the success of Riverfront Cinergy Field, because there were two world championships, in 1940 and in another year eludes me, Russ Jackson probably knows, because Reds had won 1919, which was the Black Sox, in 1940. They won it in 39 with Frank McCormick and Derringer and those guys, but they lost the pennant.
They were champs in 39.
39. It wasn't the same, Andy, but this place, I think you love it more with your head than your heart because of the memories of what happened on the field. And Crosley was more about the ambiance, almost like a Wrigley Field. When you go to, if Wrigley Field would ever go away, the people in Chicago would have feelings about that as many people have when Crosley Field left. And in 70 or 80 years, we may not be here when that park goes down, the Great American Ballpark. Hopefully at that point it has the same emotional pull. But to me, as Sabo said, when I look at this field now and look at the stadium, Riverfront Stadium doesn't exist in the shape and form that I remember. It looks like someone took a big bite out of it, and the field is not the same. And so,
but there's no doubt the golden years of the Reds were played in this park.
In 70 and 75, we native Cincinnatians thought the Reds should have won 2 or 3 World Series. So when 75 came along, we thought, what's taking you so long? And in 75 was a 7-game series. Many of us thought at the 7th game in Boston they were going to lose. They should not have lost the 6th game. And looking back on that whole history and that whole era, I'm surprised that team won only 2 world championships. It was together largely from 70 to 78. Perez left in 77, but Pete Rose left in 78. When Pete Rose left after the 78 season, that was the end of the Big Red Machine, because the main character, the main actor, left the stage. But I think many of us in Reds country, Northern Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, do not fail to look upon this place now. Let's go to John Wall.
Riverfront Stadium for the final events. The farewell to Riverfront Cinergy Field evening. For tonight's game, let's first introduce the blue team, the Baseball All-Stars. Starting off, the pitcher had his best season perhaps with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1985 with a 21-8 record. Please welcome John Tudor. Our next player is a catcher. He shared the MVP award in the 1981 World Series, Steve Yeager. League's Most Valuable Player Award in 1982 and 83. Please welcome Dale Murphy. Our next player, a 14-year Major League career in center field with the Cardinals, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Please welcome Andy Van Slyke. Player for the blue team, the National League Rookie of the Year in 1985, Vince Coleman. An outstanding Major League career with the Montreal Expos and the Chicago Cubs. Please welcome the Hawk, Andre Dawson. With the Pittsburgh Pirates and later with the Cincinnati Reds, please welcome back to Riverfront the Cobra, Dave Parker. The National League's Most Valuable Player in 1984, earning All-Star berths in 1984, every year through 1993, from the Chicago Cubs, Ryne Sandberg. Call him Dr. K. He set the Major League rookie record with 276 strikeouts. Dwight Doc Gooden. Appearing in 11 All-Star games and earning Gold Gloves in 80 through 82, please welcome catcher Gary Carter. Inducted into Cooperstown in 1994 with 329 wins. Please welcome Steve Carlton. One of the most reliable players in all of baseball, the National League's Most Valuable Player in 1974. Please welcome first baseman Steve Garvey. For the blue team, the third baseman and a member of the 500 home run club from just up the road from Dayton, Mike Schmidt. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce the red team for tonight's game. Limited partner of the Cincinnati Reds, welcome for one more time here at Riverfront Stadium, Marge Schatz. Batting first with Cincinnati native switch hitting second baseman Ron Oster. This talented outfielder exploded on the scene in 1986 when he belted 27 home runs. One of the greatest players to ever wear a Reds uniform, number 44, Eric Davis. The Nasty Boys in 1990, currently at ESPN. Please welcome Rob Dibble. The 1988 National League Rookie of the Year, third baseman, Chris Sabo. Five-time All-Star, 6 World Series appearances, 5 World Series rings, and an American League batting title in 1994. Welcome back to Riverfront Stadium, Paul O'Neill. This man earned 4 Gold Glove Awards while playing for the Big Red Machine, the Gold Gloves from 74 to 77. Back in center field tonight, Cesar Geronimo. A member of the Big Red Machine starting rotation, winning 19 games in both 1973 and 74. Welcome back, Jack Billingham. Rookie season in 85, 20 wins, most known in this stadium for his perfect game against the Los Angeles Dodgers, Mr. Perfect, Tom Browning. The National League's most valuable player in 1977, George Foster. Defensive shortstop of his era, number 13, Dave Concepcion. A lifetime .296 hitter. This man hit opposing pitchers for .336 in 1976. Welcome Ken Griffey Sr. Selected to the Hall of Fame in 2000, a 7-time All-Star whose 1,652 career RBI ranked the most by a Latin American player, the mayor of Riverfront, Tony Perez. Most valuable player during the Reds World Series championships in 1975 and 1976, second baseman, number 8, Joe Morgan. He is quite simply the greatest catcher of all time. 389 home runs. Back at Riverfront, number 5, Johnny Bench. Nicknamed Charlie Hustle. An important cog in the Big Red Machine, which won 4 National League championships, 2 World Series crowns, the National League's Rookie of the Year in 1963, 256 career hits, number 14, Pete Rose.
huge hug between Pete Rose and Johnny Bench, between Pete Rose and Joe Morgan, between Pete Rose and Tony Perez and George Foster and Ken Griffey Sr. Now George Foster is holding up the left arm of Pete Rose like the heavyweight champion of the world. And right now, Pete Rose and Marge are standing shoulder to shoulder at home plate. And Mike Schmidt is about 5 feet to the right of Marge leading off the blue team. And you know, Andy, I was remarking to you, I think he's going to make a speech. I think he's going to say something. Yeah. This is great. Let's go to Pete Rose at home plate.
Thank you. Tonight, on behalf of all the members of both teams, we appreciate it. This is your game. At this time, I'd like for you to join my 13-year-old daughter Shay in the national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, bubbles bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
dry eyes in this ballpark tonight.
I anticipated it would be emotional, but that was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Pete Rose and the fans right now are still screaming and hollering for Pete. And any idea that Bench and Rose didn't get along is simply false and untrue. Let's continue with more. Billy Cunningham and Emmett Herman live from Cinergy Field. The Pete Rose Fairway to Cinergy on 700.
The Cincinnati Reds, the catcher, Johnny Bench, the first baseman, Tony Perez, the second baseman, Joe Morgan, the shortstop, Dave Concepcion, the third baseman, Pete Rose, the left fielder, George Foster, the center fielder, Cesar Geronimo, the right fielder, Ken Griffey.
This is the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy. Up next, Pete Rose and members of his Big Red Machine take the field one more time against other Major League greats and celebrities. The day was August 17th, 1986.
Rose strikes out swinging. He just waved at that 0-2 pitch and Gossage with a quick and impressive perfect eight.
Little did we know that it would be his final at-bat, but at least we'd still have him in uniform, managing his hometown team, the Cincinnati Reds.
I made some mistakes.
But then came August 24th, 1989.
Mr. Rose has accepted baseball's ultimate sanction, which is lifetime ineligibility.
And Pete Rose was never again to step on the field at Riverfront Stadium until tonight, in front of a standing room only crowd. Magic returns to the Riverfront. Pete Rose and his Big Red Machine teammates take the field together one more time. 700 WLW is proud to present to you the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy. Among those scheduled to appear tonight are Tony Perez, Mike Schmidt, Ken Griffey Sr., Ryne Sandberg, George Foster, Steve Yeager, Didi Concepcion, Steve Carlton, Johnny Bench, and the Hit King,
players warming up on the sidelines right in front of us on the first base side of Cinergy. Billy Cunningham with me, and right now, the limited partner of the Cincinnati Reds, who really and truly had about a minute and a half standing ovation herself. Mrs. Marge, you shot a great scene. You look great, Marge. You really do. I'm so happy you're here with us tonight.
Thanks, honey. It's nice to be here. I mean, this is a very special night because, not that they're going to tear down the stadium, but Pete Rose is back on the field.
Where he belongs.
And where he belongs.
Where you got him there, too.
Where he always, where we had the Pete and Marge show for years.
Well, you know what? It's funny, though, because you and Pete have the same dilemma. You're almost both on the outside looking in.
You got it.
How do you change that? You want to get back in again, don't you?
Well, I would have never sold this team, honey, if I hadn't been forced. I should have been a man like you, though, you know.
Some people don't think I am, though.
Well, he's
all right.
Well, Marge, when I was here yesterday, I mentioned this to Pete, and the time I was here, I don't think anyone received, even the Red Stars and Hall of Famers, more of an ovation than you received from Reds fans.
Well, that was beautiful. It really was. It made me feel wonderful that, you know, the general, because to me it's opinion of the general public that's more important than the hoy-hoys.
You know what? You did some things, and people remember the dollar hot dog. You kept the prices down. People don't forget that. I think people feel like they're being gouged.
And so many men come up to me and say, you should have never put up with that, Mrs. Schott, you know, and it's nice when you hear men say that, you know.
Why did you? At the time when they said get out, why didn't you say, to hell with it, I'm hiring a dream team?
Because I guess I was sick of lawyers. I don't know.
Well, you know, lawyers are the foundation of our country's success.
Oh, thanks.
Billy would have defended.
I would have defended you.
Oh, I forgot you were a lawyer, damn it. All right.
I would have had me, Les Gaines, Ken Lawson. We would have got Judge Green, the dream team. Well, when you were announced tonight, I won't say that it was, and next to Pete Rose, you again received an ovation that I think angered the grand poobahs of baseball.
Probably. Who knows?
Is that revenge?
The guy flew the
banner? Pete Rose forever, Bud Selig never.
You like that? You get a little chuckle out of that, don't you?
I kind of laughed at that.
Sure, why not?
WBM, wasn't it?
Sure,
WBM. Yeah. They're about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and we don't care about that kind of crap.
Honey, to me, gambling is not as bad as drugs.
Drugs are worse.
And if I'd had a player on my team when I owned the team who got on drugs, he would have been gone.
You would have said that.
But baseball keeps taking him back.
I agree with you.
And I don't think that's a good example for our children, honey.
Well, if baseball would make you commissioner, which is possible, well, what are the one or two things Commissioner Marge Schott would do to make the game more fan-friendly?
Well, we give a clean shaven look, no earrings.
No earrings, get rid of gold jewelry.
Yeah. No, I never thought of that. That's an idea. But no, I just would bring it back for the young people and the children. To me, the players should be an example to the young children. That's the most important thing they can be.
Do you have a sense of authorship of that stadium, the Great American Ballpark going up? Do you feel like things you did here at Riverfront / Cinergy Field over the years allowed that to happen, that you have authorship to a small extent?
Well, I always felt that in a small town like this, it was a good idea to have the same stadium for both your football team and your baseball team.
For money.
Instead of people having to pay taxes to build two stadiums.
To use 10 days a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hey, get it?
Well, 2 exhibition games.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
But do you miss the day-to-day not going to the office of the Reds?
I really
What keeps you busy now, Marge?
Well, with my other companies, I sort of ignored them for the number of years I owned the Reds, which made them happy.
You got the brick company, you got the car dealerships, you got other things to occupy your time.
Oh yeah, trucking companies, block plants.
But if the opportunity came back again for baseball, perhaps in Cincinnati, would you? Would you go for it? Say Mr. Linder sold it and the opportunity came for baseball.
I'd think about it, yeah.
You might come back.
Might come back.
How about that? That's huge. That's a big story.
You never know, okay.
How's your health? We've heard reports you've been in and out of hospital.
Well, I broke my shoulder. And when you go to therapy, that's like torture chamber.
So you don't want to do that?
I have to do it tomorrow. I got a 9:30 appointment. I have no choice.
Who takes care of you? Doc Hollywood? Doc Krumcheck takes care of you?
No. Well, I forget what the name of the guy was, but...
you got to say whatchamacallit. You used to do that or what?
Yeah, I have to go to this therapy place, which is torture chamber.
You don't like that at all, do you?
Oh, not at all.
What are your memories as you sit here? I said this to Andy. I don't think this field looks like Riverfront Stadium. In other words, I look at this huge monolith going up in left center.
Oh, I know. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
When you would see the river and everything, that was what was wonderful.
What are your memories here, Marge Schott's memories? Is it 1990? Is it the perfect game? Is it the Pete Rose saga?
It was Pete Rose and winning the World Series, and then Pete, we finished second what was it, 4 years in a row
I
or
think 86,
something?
87, 88.
Oh, yeah, and finally he said, Marge is tired of being a bridesmaid, she wants to be a bride.
No?
So somebody mailed me, they didn't get married, they broke their marriage off and they mailed me their,
The veil?
the veil.
Jeez.
So I sent it down to Pete in the clubhouse. I said, okay, I'm ready to be a bride, not a bridesmaid.
Might you get married again then?
No,
You don't think so? No.
I don't think so, honey.
How surprised are you, Marge? This is basically just a game to honor Pete Rose, a softball game. Sold out. The toughest ticket perhaps all year long in Cincinnati to get.
I know, honey, but I think it's something that our town, Pete is our town, you know what I mean? He's our town.
One thing I saw.
And his history here, honey.
One thing I saw was real affection between Pete Rose and Johnny Bench. There have been rumors maybe those two don't get along.
Which is nice to see.
And I saw these two men at home plate hug each other.
And Johnny did a great job catching for that, when they were hitting for home runs. He did a great job, working very hard.
And Johnny right now is catching Denny Del Castro, the Vice President of Sales of Nabisco. Denny Del Castro is throwing out the first pitch tonight.
Oh, okay.
The ceremonial first pitch.
Ceremonial first pitch.
Right.
Oh, he's part of this company, right?
Nabisco, the Oreo.
He did pretty good.
He threw a ball pretty well. And Bench caught it too.
Right.
Surprised, not surprised, but the guys were introduced. They all came up one by one, hugged and kissed you. What respect?
I know, but isn't that
this
sweet?
makes you feel great.
Because I didn't really expect them to, but they all sort of seemed to, because honey, they were like my sons almost when I owned the team. And I used to say to them, what other owner can kiss you? Which would have been a lot of talk.
When you look back at when you were majority owner, you still owned a piece of the Reds, but when you were a majority owner, are there 2 or 3 moments that stand out in your mind above all else?
Well, I think being part of the team, was like almost having a bunch of sons, really. And running things so the children could enjoy baseball and afford baseball. Just different things like that.
Where's your World Series ring? You don't wear it.
It's home in something.
Are you proud about that? Is that something you look back upon?
Yeah. Well, I don't think, not many owners have won a World Series. And I got reprimanded by baseball when we swept.
Yeah, they said you did
They called me and said, you swept? I said, yeah, I know we swept. They said, CBS is very unhappy and you won't get a nickel of the money. I said, oh, thanks, guys. I wish I'd known that I could have cheated. So when the next guy won in so many games, I said, we dumb women won and sweep and you smart man won.
Now, you know this better than us, but that budget for that 1990 wire-to-wire team was something like $15 million. 13 million was the budget, as opposed to the 40s, 50s.
Oh, I know. Now it's so different, honey. It's sad.
What would you do if you were owning the club now? Would you break the bank and open the budget to 50, 60 million?
No, I don't. I think I would go for the guys who were coming up, the good young players, something like that. Because I don't blame the players for what their salaries are getting. I blame the owners.
But you never shied away from spending the money. I remember on TV you once did a flip of the coin with Cal Daniels for 25 G's.
Oh, I know. And then I got reprimanded for that too.
Did you win or lose?
Flipping a
She
coin.
lost. Cal lost. I think that may have been staged.
Yeah, I think so.
But it looked good, but we don't have any betting in baseball, no flipping a coin.
No, I know that.
Do you think
I don't think flipping a coin is betting.
No.
They do it before to decide on the game.
That's a good point. Do you think Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, absolutely. If any player belongs in the Hall of Fame, he does.
Is there anything you could do, though, to start a campaign to get him back in?
I kind of think maybe something like this might get through to baseball. I really do. I don't know.
Well, right now, Vince Coleman leading off for the National League All-Stars has hit a fly ball to Ken Griffey Sr. in right field. It's 1 down at the top of the first. Tom Browning's on the mound.
Still got a perfect game going.
Marge and Andy, take a look at his lineup. Johnny Bench is catching.
I know, but look, there's Tony, my Perez over there.
The big dog.
There's the big dog over there.
That's Dave Concepcion at short.
Right.
Joe Morgan at second. Pete Rose is at third.
I think they got that other team outnumbered.
And could you afford that lineup today, Mr. Shaw? What do you think? The budget would break
At their age, yeah.
At their age?
Yeah, at their age, yeah.
Well, we just had a pass ball by Johnny Bench. Tom Browning threw something a little bit too hard.
Johnny's catching without a mask.
Well, I think in softball
they're catching with a softball and they're pitching underhanded.
Yeah.
In fact, Bench hasn't caught one on a fly yet.
Right. There you go. Oh, my God.
That ball's gone. 1-0.
Oh, no.
Ron Sandberg. 1-0. A shot to right. Tom Browning kicks the third, kicks the mound.
Now I'm going to leave here because I don't want to be bad luck.
You don't be bad luck. Well, the team's down. Marge, Godspeed, and thank you very much. Nice talking to you, Margie. She's wonderful.
All right, Danny, right now, there's one out in the top of the first, 1-0, the Ryan Sandberg home run.
In the outfield, thank you, Margie. In the outfield, you have Paul O'Neill in dead right center. Who's that in center field? Eric Davis. In left field is George Foster. How about that lineup, Andy? George Foster, Eric Davis, and Paul O'Neill.
These guys are playing to win. I mean, Joe Morgan right now, I mean, he's telling his teammates what to do out there. There's a shot Morgan over his head. Right field base hit, and
Dave Parker.
His needs a shot.
He's had some Popeye chicken over the last couple of years, I'd say.
But there's no doubt about that.
He's one of the prophets.
Lucky the base is only 45 feet from home plate.
He just now got the first.
Yes, he did.
So, but that was the shot. The Cobra, does he belong in the Hall of Fame, Andy, in your opinion?
I think he does. I think that he was basically the player of the 70s.
He was.
He was the player of the 70s. He really was. He had some problems in Pittsburgh.
Everyone had problems.
Sure, but
Mike Schmidt, a shot through the wicket of Dave Concepcion. We'll count that as a hit, though, because Concepcion was the greatest defensive shortstop of his era. First and second.
Was he better than Larry Walker?
Well, you know, Andy, I have to think yes, to be honest with you. Because I think he did more at the plate over a longer period of time. Plus, he won more Gold Gloves.
And you talk about Hall of Famers. There's a guy who's a Hall of Famer.
I think so.
Because Phil Rizzuto at shortstop.
And Pee Wee Reese.
He's got the numbers to match.
But he's never going to get there. Never going to get there. Right now, Dale Murphy, two-time back-to-back National League MVP, is up with the Atlanta Braves. And I think there's 5 outfielders in the history of baseball to win the back-to-back MVP, and one of them is right here. And Pete Rose told us that Dale Murphy seldom, if ever, comes to these events. High fly, Paul O'Neill under it, fighting Eric Davis. O'Neill's got the ball. That's 2 out. Parker's at first, and Parker's at second. And coming up to bat now is the Hawk, Andre Dawson, Montreal, Chicago Cubs. Another one of those players, Andy, with about 450 home runs. Another one of those players, back-to-back. Another one of those players.
Now we have a runner for Mike Schmidt. His kid's running for him right now at first base. As Dawson lines a shot over short into left field for a base hit.
George Foster throws in. Bases are now juiced
with 2 outs.
Gary Carter coming to the plate right now. And Andy, look at this house that we're in. It is packed.
I'll tell you what, I bet you the concession stands will not be doing a big business tonight because everybody will not want to leave their seats.
You don't want to leave. And every batter that comes to the plate, there are dozens and dozens of flash bulbs popping to commemorate Gary Carter, who may be a Hall of Famer in the next year or two. Johnny Bench is given the strike sign for the umpire. Tom Browning, Mr. Perfect on the mound. Another pitch, 0-1 is the shortstop. Dave Concepcion to Joe Morgan. That's it. Top of the first. Let's take a very short break. Phil Cunningham live with Andy Furman. Pete Rose, farewell to Cinergy on 700 WLW.
Batting first, playing third base, number 14, Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, farewell to Cinergy live with the first. The All-Star sitting 1-2. Phil Cunningham, Andy Furman. Ken Griffey Sr. right here on deck. Say a word for us, Marge. Pete Rose is leading off. Little Joe Morgan. I want a lineup. How about Rose? Well, Rose has hit the ball left. Foul ball way back. Lineup for Pete Rose. The first 3 batters in there. Pete Rose, Ken Griffey Sr., Joe Morgan, and then I would think the big dog, Tony Perez.
There you go.
Easy. Another foul ball. Another foul ball. 0-2. What if Pete Rose strikes out here?
Never happened.
Pitching,
never happened.
Steve Carlton. You ought to see the flash ball. A line shot. A line shot. Schmidt at third, and he caught it. It was the defensive maneuver. What a play.
He's upset.
He's upset. He's got some competitors here. Ken Griffey Sr. now batting. Really the fastest player of the 1976 Reds. Batted .336 that year and had some key hits. Steve Carlton is like rolling the ball up there. Lefty cannot get it off on the top. There we go. Ball hit deep to right. Deep to right. Dale Murphy is back. It's going to stay in the yard. 2 out. All-time .296 hitter, about a .336 in 1970. But here comes Joe Morgan.
Get the chicken wing.
Chicken wings. Joe Morgan. MVP of the league, 75 and 76. Hall of Famer, number 8, batting third for the Reds. The chicken wing just flapped.
10-time All-Star.
In a softball game, the chicken wing is flapping.
Johnny Bench on deck. I never thought I'd live to see the day that I'd be saying Joe Morgan up, Johnny Bench on deck.
Johnny Bench is on deck. Line shot. Joe Morgan, the first hit for the Reds All-Stars. Now batting fourth, Johnny Bench. How about this lineup, Andy? Rose, Griffey, Morgan, bench, Perez.
By Major League standards today, I don't know of any owner who could afford a lineup like this.
And not even A-Rod's Tom Hicks in Texas could afford this lineup. Lefty Steve Carlton delivering to Johnny Bench. He swings and misses. Oh no.
I could take a little glitter there.
An outrage. An outrage. Maybe he's acting.
He's going for the fences. And by and large, most of these guys are in pretty good shape.
Do you think
by
so?
and large.
By and large.
Yes.
I think Eric Davis looks good and Tony Perez looks good. Bench swings.
He's in a hole now.
He's 0-2. Tony, don't let him strike out. Don't let him strike out. What if Bench strikes out in softball?
Not many people do, Billy.
Here it is. He swings. He struck out. He struck out. He struck out. Oh no. He struck him out. He rung him up.
He's not happy.
He rung him up.
And that's the
He struck him out.
One hit, one left. At the end of one. All-Stars 1, Legends zip. We continue.
I can't believe it, Andy. He struck out. Johnny Bench struck out.
On 700 WLW.
I think you'll be in the Reds Hall of Fame, and I think you'll have a statue to go alongside Bench and Nuxall and Perez and Morgan and Clue and all the rest of them.
Steve Garvey at the mound. Grounds to Morgan. Morgan boots it.
When was the last time you saw that?
Haven't seen that in about 15 years. And Joe Morgan
He was with that like putty. Looked like Bengals on a handoff.
Put a fork in it, Joe. It might be a meatball. He kind of dropped the damn thing.
You almost feel sorry when they bend over a little bit. You don't know if they're going to get up or not.
Well, Joe,
I hate to say that. I really do.
But this is about memories. But, Andy, let's not take any more cheap shots unless they're warranted.
I want to remember them as I remember them.
I do.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. That wasn't good. But, you know, little Joe, now Van Slyke, who was in Pittsburgh, the Pirate lines the ball to left field, first and second. You got Steve Garvey on second, Andy Van Slyke on first. Now here comes Lefty.
Now it seems to me that the ball is not hit directly at David Concepcion the short. He's not going for it.
He's not moving a lot.
He doesn't put a chair at shortstop.
Yeah, he's not moving a lot. Carlton is at the mound. Carlton was a guy who was a lousy hitter, but he was the best left-handed pitcher of his era and is a Hall of Famer, and he belongs in the Hall of Fame. So, Tom Browning on the mound, pitching for the Reds. The score at this point is 1-0 All-Stars over the Cincinnati Legends. Johnny Bench is squatting, not really squatting, he's kind of like half sitting behind them. And that's another hit. And Morgan dove for that ball. Bases are now...
They're sending Garvey in. They're sending Garvey in. He'll score, no throw.
No throw at all.
Another one for the All-Stars. They lead 2-zip now in the 2-second.
Top of the second. You know, nightfall has come to Cinergy, and he did this exciting.
I think it's great.
It's unbelievable. How much of this picture is going to be worth?
I think you may have even paid for this game.
I did?
I think you would have.
I would have.
If you had to.
Now, John Tudor, left-handed pitcher. He spent a lot of time in the St. Louis organization and Philadelphia organization. A career record of 117-72 with a 3.12 ERA. 21-8 record, 10 shutouts. 1985 season was his best with an ERA of a microscopic 1.93. And guess what? Browning is getting lit up like a Christmas turkey.
Some things never change.
Yes. Well, he had who's won more games than any other Reds pitcher?
63 in Synergy, Tom Browning.
Tom Browning. So show a little respect for Mr. Perfect.
We're just having a good time.
That's right. Now, Vince Coleman back up to the mound.
Do you think he's still got some speed, though, Vince?
He hurt his leg in that one accident with the AstroTurf, and since then he's not been the same. Vince Coleman swung away. A shot. Is that Paulie? Paulie O'Neill under it. What an arm.
Look at this.
What an arm.
You know, I think he could have played this year if he wanted. I just think he was just mentally beat.
Well, he had all the money in the world, too. 3-0, the National League All-Stars beating our beloved Reds All-Stars first and third, 1 out. I feel a little bit like Joe Nuxall. Do you feel like Marty Brenneman?
Not at all.
Because your hair looks a little bit better.
Thank you.
So, batting now is Dale Murphy.
Ryan Sandberg.
Ryan Sandberg. He looks like Dale Murphy, though.
They do.
They look a little bit alike. Is he a Hall of Famer, Andy?
I think so.
You think so?
I really do.
Pete told me he's up next year.
I think he will get in the Hall of Fame.
A shot to Ken Griffey Sr. in right, played on a hop. Another run scored for the National League All-Stars.
That was 84 MVP, 9-time Gold Glove winner. I think that'll get some support.
Best second baseman of his era.
And I think a lot has to do with who you're on the ballot with.
And the Cubbies are a big market team, and he was media friendly.
Yes, he was.
The Cobra coming up now. The Cobra is wearing the number 14 on his hat. And I think Dave Parker belongs in the Hall of Fame, but I think if we get behind him, we could have Dave Parker and Pete Rose together in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. A lot of snapshots.
But he's going for fences, though. He was going for it.
Ken Griffey Sr. Tag up. Oh!
The bad ball. He booted it.
He booted it. Now, that's something you never saw from father or son right there.
That's the fourth run of the inning for the All-Stars. They're 5-0, mounting a lead, 9 hits.
Ken Griffey Sr. looks like a Civil War veteran going back from Gettysburg. He's got bad bandages all over him, and he's limping back to his position.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
Now, Mike Schmidt, Hall of Famer.
Who has been very outspoken about Pete getting into the Hall of Fame.
Many have said that he is the best third baseman of all time. It's either Pie Traynor or Brooks Robinson. Who do you say? Pete Rose at third. 1, 2, could be 2. 2. Double play. Rose the doggy. Let's continue with more. Great play, Pete, on 700 WLW.
Is the Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy on 700 WLW.
Bottom of the second inning, Billy Cunningham, 80 from an All-Stars 5 legend zip as Tony Perez hits it right down third, and he's going to leg it out for a single.
Mike Schmidt booted that one. I look for Big E to take him long.
Well, I don't think the official score is giving any errors tonight.
No errors. Well, that was not an error.
Well, I mean, the senior deal in right field before
might have been an error.
But they're not giving him an error on the scoreboard tonight.
How about the ground ball to Joe Morgan when he done it like a monkey with a beach ball?
No errors.
No errors there. Paul O'Neill is batting out. He looks as good as he looked the last 3 or 4 years. The swing
didn't look good there.
He just missed the ball. He missed the ball. Paul O'Neill, who was a major leaguer last year with the Yankees, and he pops it up.
So you're into the softball play. There's a lot of difference in swinging for a softball, swinging with a metal bat, aluminum bat as opposed to a wood bat.
If you hit Randy Johnson, you ought to be able to hit a softball. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, it's a fluke. It's an off type of situation. There's different swings, a different kind of bat. They don't practice softball on a daily basis. You know that.
In the presentation of this game, the stadium was packed. Lights are popping constantly. The Big E. There it is. Kept on. Way out of here. Right center. There's the Eric Davis front right there. We saw in 1990 on Dave Stewart in Game 1 of the World Series.
The Legends on the board.
5-1. The Cincinnati baseball legends have their hands 5-2. I was right there. George Foster. This is the guy who won the home run hitting contest. So we look for that. E. He's going to go shake some hands in the dugout.
I think you ought to just paint the picture in the configuration of this ballpark is
Mike Schmidt. Safe. George Foster heads it to Mike Schmidt and throws it backwards.
They moved the fences in. It's something like 260 down the lines right now as the softball configuration has been made tonight for this ball game.
Right. And the field looks exactly as it looked, except the pitcher's rubber's 45 feet from
and there's no mound.
No mound at all. Mr. Perfect. Mr. TB. Concepcion at blast to center. Cut. 2 out. 2 out. George Foster still. Chris Sabo Spuds is taking his place in the on-deck circle. Tom Brown and Mr. Perfect, September 16th, 1988. One of the top, I think the second memory in the history of this stadium was #1 individually, Pete Rose, #2 was Mr. Perfect.
I think that was a great night, but I think maybe #2 may have been when Pete came back in '84.
Well, I was here for that when he was a single.
That was huge.
That was huge. But a perfect game has never happened in the history of the Reds. Fly ball, moderate center.
Could be trouble.
Dale Murphy coming. He drops the ball. Dale Murphy drops the ball. Throws it in. Second and third. Spuds at the plate. 2 out. All-Stars beating the Cincinnati Legends 5-2.
Well, the potential tying run with Sabo is at the plate right now.
And Spuds is in his prime, shall we say.
Well, he likes you to believe that.
Well, Pete Rose is on deck. How about the lineup of Rose, Griffey, Morgan, Bench, Perez? It looks good. You did hit it hard. Pete Rose saying it hit hard. Look at the
flash ball.
It's like when Pete was 41-92. Spuds is batting deep to left, but it's going to curve foul. Well, those balls going in the stands.
You'll see them on eBay tomorrow.
It got to hurt.
Yeah.
Got to hurt. Steve Carlson still on the mound. Mike Schmidt at third. Shortstop is Vince Coleman. Second base Ryan Sandberg. First base Steve Garvey. Outfield.
Ooh.
It's
not that easy to hit those arc pitches. It really is.
2-1 Carlson.
There's a shot.
That ball's way out of here, but it's foul for Spuds. He hit that thing right next to the sign that says, I bet on Pete. Right next to that sign. See the sign? I bet on Pete. Good.
Have you seen anybody who's loved this Pete Rose in the city all your life, since you've been here? In any form of life, in any walk of life. Shot by Sabo to short. That should do the...
He saved it first. Saved it first.
He called him safe.
He was safe.
Bobby's not happy with the call.
He was safe.
As a run scores.
In the history of Cincinnati,
I think Pete Rose, the most popular person. Joe Nuxall. Should be right up there.
I think so, but not Pete Rose. Joe didn't have 41.92.
No.
I think next to Pete is Joe Nuxall, of all time, of any category. Forget about the politicians. Look at it, Andy, look at those flash balls.
Pete's up right now, runners are first and second. Legends trailing 5-3.
Pete's looking over, 2-0.
Still got the good eye.
Very good eye, 2-0. 3-0.
No, they don't want to walk him, come on.
You don't want to walk Pete Rose on Pete Rose
here. He swung at it. He knew it was ball four, but he wanted to get his licks.
He swung at it so he wouldn't walk. He'll take it. Gives it again to Mike Schmidt. Out. Pete Rose again grounds to Mike Schmidt.
With the Sandberg, that'll do it. 3 runs this inning.
Didn't hit that very hard.
All-Stars 5, Legends 3. We continue on 700 WLW.
The Pete Rose farewell to Cinergy. This is 700 WLW.
Top of the third, Andy, 5-3. The All-Stars are winning. And Dale Murphy has just flied out. We hope Ken Griffey catches this one. Joining us now is Ron Robinson, a.k.a. the True Preacher. Ron, how did you get the name the True Preacher?
We're 1985. I was up and Pete asked me if I knew anybody on the Expos. I said, it's Jim Wolford. He said, the Creature. And so he said, you're the True Creature. So Pete gave me the nickname. I'll take it. I was in the big leagues. As long as I can stay in the big leagues, I don't care what he calls me.
Now, you live in California. Do they call you the True Creature out there, too?
They don't know nothing about that.
They know nothing?
Nothing. Nothing. No, they don't bring that up.
Ron Robinson
Oh,
just
my
shot the
God.
Hawk. Oh, my God.
That's in the new ballpark.
The Hawk.
Way out of here.
The Hawk hit it.
Over.
The Hawk hit it 5 feet short of the real fence, and it bounced over a softball. The Hawk just lit him up. There's now 6'3" National League All-Stars. Ron Robinson, your memories of this place?
Well, first memory comes to, it's my almost perfect game. But
The 26 guys you had out, didn't you?
26 guys.
Who was the 27th?
27th was Wallace Johnson.
What did you do wrong with Wallace Johnson?
I didn't shake Bo Diaz off.
Oh.
Bo Diaz called
a curveball, outside curveball, and it didn't break as much as 8 2/3. But no excuse. I mean, he got a clean hit, and the rest is history.
And what did he say to you after the game?
Bo apologized. I mean, Bo said, "Hey, I'm sorry. Bo, it's not your fault. I threw it."
Yeah.
I mean, Bo was a good catcher, and God rest his soul.
Now, what does a guy like Wallace Johnson say to you, if anything, after the game?
Never saw him again.
Really?
Never faced him. I've never saw him since.
You never. It's just two ships passing in the night.
Think about that. That one batter took you from like almost a nomad to like history. You were on everybody's tongue. Everybody knew the True Preacher. Hall of Fame.
Well, you know what's good about
as far as the ball team, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but what's good about Cincinnati? Everybody remembers it, and everybody remembers you as a baseball player here, which is great. I mean, they're great fans here. They don't forget anything. I mean, I could have pitched a perfect game anyway. I mean, same.
Last time we saw you running a Mexican restaurant in California. What happened now? You still doing that?
No, thank God I'm out of it.
Why's that? There's a restaurant door right next to you.
Well,
I saw mine too.
Yeah, but the thing about it is they're just using his name now. I actually work. But no, I ended up selling my partnership, and I'm just coaching high school football with my father now. So.
In California.
In California.
Oh, Griffey leaned over the wall to catch the ball and went off his glove, and a 2-run dinger for Andy Van Slyke. The score's going to end up like 7-3 right now. It's the top of the third inning.
And Browning's getting lit.
And Tom Browning needs to get out of there.
Are you righty? I've got a uniform, but I can pitch.
Well, you can pitch.
How come you're not playing?
Somebody else? I'm a fan.
Really?
I'm a fan. I come from California. I stayed an extra day. I got my son Ryan here with me. I brought my whole family for the ceremonies. So, it's a great
basically
deal.
you came for the ceremonies yesterday. When did you find out about this Pete Rose deal?
I was in Canada, and I found out they were playing it, and then it sold out like that, so I didn't have tickets. So I go to Canada with John Tudor. So I called him and said, you got any extra tickets? He says, sure. Pete was sitting there with him. He goes, Creech, come down. I got tickets for you, so
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Does your son know who you are?
My son does. Both my boys do. My daughter doesn't.
She has no idea. Hang with us, though. She says, Dad. Let's continue. Billy Cunningham, 700 WLW.
The Pete Rose farewell to Cinergy continues on 700 WLW.
Ken Griffey Sr. at the plate. Here we are in the bottom of the third inning, 8-3. The All-Stars are beating the Reds. Dwight Gooden is taking to the mound, and Griffey Sr. is just grounded out to Ryan Sandberg. One pitch, one out, just like on Robin Robinson. I'm looking at your ring. You have on your ring finger, 12 years later, the World Series ring of 1990. Your memories of that season?
Getting traded.
You were traded like halfway through it?
Halfway through. Getting arguments with Lou Piniella about pitching. Saying I can pitch. Nah, we're not going to use you. You never pitch in the Reds uniform again.
Is that what he told you?
Yeah. I said, then trade me. So halfway through the season, they traded me, and I went to win 12 games with the Brewers. I was 12-5, and completed 7 games, and got a 3-year guaranteed contract. Set me for life.
Really?
Yeah.
So why'd you open up a Mexican restaurant then?
Because stupid.
You're stupid?
I listened to 2 lawyers and an ex-NFL guy.
Now, here's the question of the day, though. I mean, you play baseball, you're set for life. How difficult is it to make the transition to, like, be a real person and not and have to work every day or do something different than just play the game of baseball?
I'm more busy now than I've ever been in my life. Just doing kid things, chasing my kids around. I got 3 kids, 19, 16, and 14. I got 2 boys and a little girl.
Well, Andy, right there, Joe Morgan grounded out. Johnny Bench is now batting.
Who struck out the last time up?
Johnny Bench struck out, which is
unheard of in softball.
He just swung again, and he popped out to Carter, but Carter dropped the ball, I guess, and didn't want to catch it. But let me ask you, Ron, this is softball. This is, without question, the greatest catcher of all time, and he struck out and he can't hit the ball.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because I play softball 3 months out of the year. Well, you know, you guys asked me what I do. My good friend John Warden invited me up to go to Canada, and we got some alumni guys that go up there, and we play softball up there 3 months out of the year.
Oh! Bench, a swinging bunt and beats it out.
Who was that? Who did that in the World Series?
A swinging bunt?
No, the bunt at home plate got in the way. What was it?
What year was it?
Armbruster.
Ed Armbruster.
What number did he wear?
Ed Armbruster.
What number did he wear?
44.
No.
56. 37. 33.
Very good.
The same number you had.
Yes. Oh, how can he call him out?
How do you like
This
that?
home plate umpires, you know, I'd like to say some words, but...
Well, you can't, but hold on, because we're up to 3 innings now. All-Stars 8, Legends 3.
There he goes.
We continue on 700 WLW. 3 complete, 8-3, All-Stars over the Legends. Billy Cunningham, Andy Furman, and the true creature with us. But, you know, when Mommy and Joe do this, one of them takes a couple of innings off. Is that going to happen with us tonight?
We're not permitted.
We're not permitted. Well, let's get back to the softball situation, playing with an aluminum bat creature. How different is it going from that to from the wooden bats? Well, you never hit the wooden bat.
Pete Rose dives at third. John Tudor knocked it by. But there's a 61-year-old guy, Pete Rose, diving at third base.
He won't be able to get out of bed tomorrow.
Yeah.
He looks okay. He's not doing too bad.
He's all right.
But Oster's playing short. Dave Concepcion is moved on to the buffet line.
Hey, you know, well, he's had a couple back surgeries since he retired, so...
Now, in 1990, when Piniella told you, did he call you into his office and said you're done as a Red?
He called me in Houston. I was supposed to pitch a game in Houston. And he said, hey, we got plan B. I said, well, what is it? He says, you've been traded to Milwaukee Brewers. I said, thank you very much. Got up, shook his hand. He thought I was going to hit him. I said, hey, thanks a lot.
Oh, is that cordial, really?
Really? I said, hey, I got an opportunity to do something, do well.
Fans are yelling and screaming right now. Someone's playing right field. I'll tell you what happened. Ken Griffey Sr. sent out some little boy to go play right field. He don't want to play right field. Holy moly. The ball's hit to Paul O'Neill, kind of in right center. Vince Coleman. Now we got nobody out first and second in the National League All-Star. This is one heck of a National League lineup. Would you agree?
Shoot, I was,
Hall of Fame.
I was sitting in the dugout taking pictures of my son Ryan with all of them. I mean, I pitched against most of them. I mean, it's a great ball club.
And the Reds, they have these 4 come together. You know something about Cincinnati from California you probably don't know. Is what other stadium in America could put 45,000 in for a softball game?
Not too many. I'm telling you, this is great. I mean, I don't think anybody could do this.
Nothing.
No.
I mean, how surprised are you, really? It's a meaningless softball game, really.
But to tell you the truth, I'm totally shocked. I mean, I called the promoter and he said, hey, it's sold out. And so, you know, it's like, well, I'm staying an extra night. I want to go see the guys. I want to just take it easy. I mean, that's shocking.
Shocking.
I walked over here and I thought it was a concert, a rock concert.
It was packed.
They would get 40,000.
It was packed.
But it's Pete. It's a credit to Pete, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, he should be in the Hall of Fame. This is my hat I wore yesterday. I put 14 on it. Me and Dibble and Browning got the spray paint and spray painted 14. I thought it was great.
So you were the one that got Browning to do that?
No, he did it on his own. I mean, it was just funny that he did it. I mean,
but you fellas all have that love for Pete, and you all believe that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Why hasn't someone taken charge and started a movement for him to get in there? I don't think it really happened to you guys, but you're out of the game right now.
Well, who's Ron Robinson? Nobody.
No, I mean, but Mike Schmidt's been very outspoken. I think if you got a mic, say, Mike, you go with you. Let's do something.
But then you got a lot of veterans who are in the Hall of Fame that don't like Pete. Bobby Feller.
Ron Roberts from Philadelphia. The Cobra, Dave Parker, lashes it deep to left, but Paul O'Neill was taken over from Ken Griffey Sr. in right.
Actually, Ken Griffey Sr. has put in a ball boy for him.
Well, no, he came
O'Neill has forgotten how many outs there were. He didn't throw it in. He thought there were 3 outs.
And they got a run score from the tag up.
O'Neill had a mental blunder, a maybe historical performance.
He's on a New York minute.
He's on a New York minute.
That's a cheap shot.
9-3.
Well, you're good friends with New York, John Franco. You've seen him. How's he doing?
I haven't seen him. I can't believe he didn't come back.
I can't believe he's still playing. He'll play next year again, won't he? He's 41.
No, I don't think.
He's going to play.
I think his arm injury is bad enough. I don't think he'll come back.
Never.
No, he had the surgery.
He's going to try. He's going to try. I'm giving him credit for that, but I don't think that.
But is it that hard to let go? I wouldn't know because I never played the game, but I see these guys as one more year. I got to respect O'Neill. He left last year. He could have played this year.
Oh, Paul's in great shape. He could have played.
But is it that hard to let go when you're a player?
It's so much fun, and it's not the money.
It's not the money?
It's just being around the guys. Shoot, I miss this city. This city is a great city for me. I played 6 years here. So it's a great city.
Jack Billingham on the mound, Andy, and Ron Robinson, Mike Schmidt. But look at what we're watching.
He's in still good shape. He really is.
He got me once. I told my son Ryan, hey, Mike Schmidt got me once here.
Mike Schmidt is batting. Johnny Bench is catching.
That's gone. It's out of here. That's way back. Way back.
Gone.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
Still got the trot.
He sure does.
He looks the same as that's it right there.
Hey, I gave it up. He did that trot against me.
How many? Just one.
Just one.
11-3, Andy. The National.
What does Monty call these games? A good old country.
A good old-fashioned good one.
Yeah. Well, 10-3 now. It's getting under control.
It's an old-fashioned whooping.
It's a butt whooping.
Yeah, old-fashioned butt whooping too.
I kind of think the Reds brought the butt, and the National League All-Stars brought the whoop.
But it's one of those games no one cares about the score.
Here you go. The Reds will come back.
They will come back.
It's in the contract. The promoter said, right? Tell you know. It's like wrestling tonight.
Dale Murphy popped out as the third out. All right, Ron Robinson, thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Have a good trip back. We'll never forget the true preacher.
Thanks.
God bless you.
Thanks.
Let's continue with more Billy Cunningham and Andy Furman live.
Andy Williams Sig has the call. The Pete Rose farewell to Cinergy on 700 WLW.
Tony Perez lined out to Michael Schmidt at third right now for the first out. Bottom of the third. Mr. Perfect with us right now. Did you bring your spray paint tonight?
Didn't need to. Brought him.
Oh, that's right. Pete is here. You're right. Spray paint.
Yeah, Pete's here.
Whose idea was that?
Well, we were sitting there listening to them announce all the players, and they were getting towards the end, with all the Hall of Famers that got announced last, and you could hear the rumbling in the stands. They wanted some sort of acknowledgement about Pete. So I said, I'll go in there, and I said, I need some red spray paint. And the guy
you didn't bring it with you from home?
Oh, no, I went in there to look for it, and the guy wanted to give me some black. I said, no, I need red. So some guy said, here's red, don't tell anybody how you got it from. I said, I already forgot. So I took it out there, and I just... spray painted 14 and got the reaction I think they were looking for. I think because as players, we wanted them to acknowledge that Pete was part of this too. That was kind of important for us, and I think Marty and those guys were kind of strapped because they couldn't say too much. So
that's 3 in a row for the Reds. The Reds have faced 3. Eric Davis pops up. So I would say it's no more than 3 pitches.
Yeah.
That's the innings. Hang with us.
Hold on, we need you, Mr. Perfect.
Okay, after 4, 11-3 All-Stars over the Legends on 700 WLW. Billy Cunningham and Mr. Perfect Tom Browning here as we enter the top of the 5th. All-Stars up, and they're leading 11-3 over the Legends.
Well, the Legends are the Reds, and the All-Stars are the bad guys.
That's gone.
And the Hawk, for the second time, has hit a ball over the fence in left field.
Well, I mean, they really and truly need to take the fences away and just leave the regular fence up for the Hawk. It's not fair. Making a travesty out of the game. He really is.
He took you deep, too. Was that
Many people did.
Yeah, that wasn't the first.
It wasn't the first one, maybe not the last.
No, but Ryan Sandberg hit me to right field, and he never hit the right field line.
Never.
Eddie Van Slyke hit one to the left field, and he never hit one to the left field line.
Tom, we're talking about this off the air. You're in Northern Kentucky and a great member of traditions.
Yes.
And I'm looking at this situation here. If somebody would have told you a month ago there's going to be a softball game on a September night at Cinergy, involving some, shall we say, older major leaguers. How many do you think would show up?
Well, obviously, it depends on who's playing.
Yeah,
but when they announced that these guys were coming, and all these guys, and I mean that the whole starting into the Big Red Machine and
starting into the Big Red Machine. Now think about that.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, it's a privilege for me to be a part of these guys.
How do you find out about the game? As Gary Carter hits one to left for a single, trust down to first.
Well, I think the guy, I was doing an interview about something else. I don't remember what it was. And the guy asked, and it just had come across the wire about the possibility of the last game at Riverfront being a softball game with Pete. And I said, I'd love to be a part of it. And then about 3 weeks ago, I guess, Warren Green, I think his name is, Pete's guy called me and said, hey, Pete wants to be a part of it. Yeah.
Because you came up in 84, 85?
Yes, 84.
You won the National League Rookie of the Year?
No, Vince Coleman beat me.
He was 20 and 5.
Pitcher.
Yeah, 29.
And you went through the good times and the bad. When you started, the Reds were terrible. And then they got good in 1990, but you went through 1989. Can you put in words what it was as a ball player in August of 1989 when Pete Rose went through,
Oh, God, it was just it was devastating, because it just felt like you just couldn't believe what you were watching on TV. Because that's when Pete was in New York with Marge and all that stuff went down, and it was like a fantasy watching it. And then you go to the ballpark the next day, and Tommy Helms takes over, and and then it set in. So you just couldn't believe it was happening. You just didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, Pete Rose.
And you think it's going to go away, and you come back to the clubhouse the next day, it's still there, like a cloud hanging over you.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, he was awesome.
The funny thing is that the way he is loved and honored in this town. He could do no wrong, no doubt about that. Is it like that playing for him? I mean, obviously kids grew up watching him. Was there a feeling of like people were just like in awe of him in the clubhouse for what he was?
When I got called up in '84, I met him in Los Angeles. I was in Wichita. They called me up at the last month, and I walked in the clubhouse. First time I walked in the big league clubhouse I've been this season, and Pete was the first guy to greet me. And he said, hey, Tom.
What do you call him, Mr. Rose?
Oh, well, I kind of stopped because I wasn't sure whether to say Mr. Rose or Pete, whatever. I ended up saying, he said, welcome. I said, thanks, Pete, but it was, because the very first Major League game I ever saw was in Montreal, Canada when I was 18 years old. And I saw the Reds play Montreal Expos, and Pete was in the middle of his hitting streak. And we snuck ourselves all the way down to the dugout after the game, and it went like 14 innings, and Pete scored the winning run. Joe Morgan got sacked fly. And I remember like it was yesterday, Pete Rose had an orange crush in his hand, and we looked down to the dugout and said, hey, nice game, Mr. Rose. He said, thanks, fellas. And then,
you ever tell him that story when you got to the ball club?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't remember that, did he?
He said he did.
No, he didn't. He remembered coming to Casper, Wyoming, because we gave him a cowboy hat, but we gave everybody to come out in their cowboy hats. So.
But how come you're not in baseball? I mean, you love the game so much, you're so good for the game. I mean, even on the broadcasting end of it, why aren't you in the game?
You have too much money.
You don't have enough.
You don't need to work.
But hold on.
Wait, take a break. Let's continue.
12-3 going to the bottom of the fifth.
I might have to hit.
700 WLW.
Life, and they're easier in the old arm. Chiquita, perfect for life.
The Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy. This is 700 WLW.
All right, now it's bottom of the fifth. The National League All-Stars 12. The Reds All-Stars, the Legends 3. George Foster, 4. 12 to 4.
Line shot off of the fifth.
Now, the last question from the curveball, Tom Browning, was why aren't you in baseball? Is it because of all the money you have, and it's because of the you got like 18 children? You play golf. You're getting the Met championships all the time. You're making the match play. Is it the fact you don't want to travel? You don't want to go to Tuscaloosa?
No, I'd love to get in the middle of it.
Just not the right time.
The right scenario's got to show up.
That means Cincinnati. You wouldn't go to another club. You want to work for the Reds.
Well, now Buddy Bell and Ronnie Oster got a hold of the team, and they wanted to pitch it to us. I'd be right there.
What about Chris Sabo in Florence?
I don't know. I talked to Chris a little bit about that.
Did you?
Yeah, well, I talked to the owner too, but
it's a lot of commitment. Where does that lead you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, heck, if I can help somebody get to the big leagues, I'd love to help them.
But the bus thing is a killer.
Yeah,
that's death.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for.
I mean, you want 600-mile bus rides.
Well, I mean, I did it. I remember the minor leagues, and those are long bus rides.
But you did it for a purpose to be where you are today.
The big leagues.
Right, you're going to do it now.
I know enough now, I think, where I can help
Oh, my. Even a college situation would be
I
great
helped
for you.
go to Kentucky for one fall, and they wanted me to come help in the spring, and I went in the spring, and then they asked me to start going on bus rides. I said, listen, I got 5 kids.
They got a pretty good program. I think Chris Hook was involved with it.
Right. Now he's got a batting cage, he's got a complex down there in Northern Kentucky.
Right, I've seen that. Pretty nice.
It's called The Yard or something?
The Yard.
Yeah.
Tom, I heard a story you can confirm or deny.
Okay.
Relative to a baseball. From September 16th of 1988. Is that story true?
That's exactly true.
Tell the story. Furball, listen to this story.
Tyler, I believe it was.
No, I don't know who it was. I know Tanner Tucker. This is back when I lived in my other house. And I had a mantle there, and when I threw the perfect game, I brought the ball home and I put it on the mantle.
Hold on, we got to take another break.
Okay.
Whenever the Reds bat, it's like 4 pitches. It's unbelievable. The other team bats goes on for hours. We're now heading to the top of the 6th, 12th inning, Furman, top of the 6th inning.
Now, wait a minute for a second. How amazed are you that these guys are playing the whole game? No one's left for any ankle injuries or toe problems or neck injuries. Think about that.
Well,
Think about that.
I think one team is playing to win, and Dibble just gave it your good friend Rob Dibble.
I tried to bury the hatchet several times tonight, calling him over, and
he did bury the hatchet.
In my head.
In your head.
Well, actually, his wife was real rough shaving my head at Willie's in Montgomery years when the Reds swept.
Vince Coleman just hits another home run. Now it's 13-4, National League over the Reds.
Well, Dibble, that's okay.
Dibble. But remember that night, it was Sabo, O'Neill, and Dibble's wife shaving your head.
Dibble's wife went crazy because she put the shaving cream on, and she took that, I remember it was a Bic, one of those plastic bits. She dug in hard. I had cuts in my scalp.
You did?
Yeah, she dug in. Yeah, she was after me. And
she was after you, and she got you.
Yeah, she did. There was blood, and,
a lot of blood.
And I remember it was at Willie's, and we did it live on the big one.
Right.
Because I said the Reds would not win the series, and Dibble's throwing the ball in the stands. He thinks it's cute, but that's okay.
Yeah, Ryan Sandberg, he throws it over his head.
But the fans right now at this point in time may be waiting for that. I've never seen a man with so many tattoos on him in a game of baseball as Rob Dibble.
A lot of tattoos. You got to keep those legs covered. Ryan Sandberg just hit another home run. Back-to-back
home runs.
14-4.
Dibble's serving them up.
Dibble is, it's unbelievable. Dibble is getting booed once again at Riverfront Stadium.
Which is an occurrence, which has happened many times.
Which is really unbelievable. Here comes the Cobra right now. Dave Parker, who does belong in the Hall of Fame because he was the player of his era. He won National League MVPs. He won Golden Gloves. Remember that play in the All-Star game from right field when he threw it at the plate?
But I also remember one time he went to snatch the ball. He always had a habit of catching the ball with a snapping his wrist. The ball fell out one time, and John Franco, who was on the mound at the time, was not a happy camper.
Not a happy camper at all, but now he's pretty happy. Marty, are you happy now?
Marty Garofalo, the promoter of this game, is now going to the bowels of the stadium to count the cash.
He's smiling. All he's doing is count the gelt
right now.
Gelt.
Right, the greenbacks.
Dave
That's all he
Parker
cares about.
is getting advice from Johnny Bench on how to swing and miss.
And Johnny knows firsthand how to do that.
And Parker is taking advice. Because Johnny Bench struck out while batting.
In softball, that's unheard of. It really is.
And Parker is 2-1, and Rob Dibble's on the mound. That is wow.
Is a shot down the line, right field.
It should be a double or a triple, but Parker is just now getting the first.
Yeah, get a run up for him so he can come over and chat with us.
Yes, that would be good because he does, and I like him being a Cincinnati entrepreneur. That he owns Popeye's Chicken, which I think is the best chicken in the market.
Great biscuits.
Popeye's Chicken is the best. Wish he brought us some right now.
Well, Schmidt's up, and he had a home run last time up.
Well, this is going to be a pop out.
And will be the first out of the inning, hopefully.
Yes, it is caught. One out, top of the 6th. We're going to go play 7.
You think anybody will be leaving this ballpark early this evening?
I don't know. I'm amazed, Andy, that here we are in the 6th inning. The time is 8:30, and this place is packed as it was at 7 o'clock. And when the gates opened at 4:30, there were 25,000 people, and no one's left.
So what does that tell you? It's not the game itself, it's the participants of the game.
It's the imagery, it's the panache, it's the marketing, it's the players. When is the last time or the next time you're going to watch the 1976 World Series Championship Reds on the field playing as a team?
And I do believe that this crowd would be the same if this game was played in May. I think the fact that it's the last event ever in this ballpark is almost secondary. I mean, it's icing on the cake. It's icing on the cake, but I don't think it makes a difference. If they played this game in June or May or in the middle of August, they'd still be packed.
The Hawk, Andre Dawson, who hit 2 bolts to left field, is batting, and Rob Dibble is pitching, and the score is 14-4, and Andre Dawson is measuring Rob Dibble. He may hit another 6-iron over the left field wall. I mean, he looks as he looked when he played for the Cubbies.
Well, he sure does. He sure does.
A little higher that time, but before there was Sammy Sosa in right field for the Chicago Cubs, there was the Hawk, Andre Dawson. And boy, was he a popular player or what. He took less money. You might recall the story, Andy, in Montreal. He simply told the general manager of the Chicago Cubs, there it is, a shot to left center. It got down. It'll be a double or a triple. Here's the contract. Here's my signature. You fill in the amount. And he filled in $1.5 million, which was pretty good. But
well, at that time it was pretty good, but that's unheard of in this day and age. It'll never happen.
Dawson said that he wanted to play in Chicago because of the grass. It didn't make any difference. Pete Rose is now posing for pictures with Dale Murphy at third, who's on third, and Rob Dibble's on the mound. 15-4.
I think that the icing on the cake tonight probably would be if Pete ended up with a hit his next time at bat. That would put everything in perspective, and you would think that with a score of 15-4, they may serve it up to Pete a little bit.
Well, thus far, Pete has hit 2 shots to third base without much success, shall we say. Mike Schmidt
Hard on the nose.
Well, I think it was on the lips. I don't know about the nose. You know, it was a 4 or 5 hopper. Now that's a shot right there. Mike Schmidt.
He's hit the ball.
Dale Murphy scores. The Hawk shows mercy, stops at third. Pete Rose cuts it off and looks back. Steve Yeager back to first. What an assemblage of talent from the National League side. Look at the players we're watching here. Hall of Famers, MVPs, and that's from the National League side. And the Reds, shall we say, have the 1976 team reunited. Garvey hits a shot up the middle. Dibble is just getting hammered on the mound, which makes you feel good.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I really do. If there's any consolation, I mean, Rob Dibble is getting hit hard, although he will not be a loser if, in fact, the All-Stars lose.
Mr. Perfect.
The legend, that is.
Are you going to replay the voicemail message from Rob Dibble?
I no longer have that. I think that's on our website.
It is on the website.
Yeah,
Did he say you're a little person?
Yeah.
And that he's a network guy?
Exactly.
And that you're not? And that don't call me.
Issues.
Don't call me again.
You're a jerk.
You're a jerk.
Right.
You've always been a jerk.
Exactly right.
And my wife should have shaved more than just your head.
There's a
man's
shot.
right. It's just hit a ball.
That's gone.
Over the major league.
So Dibble has given up 3 home runs this inning.
Well, Johnny Bench is looking out saying, wait a minute here.
And the crowd is getting a little antsy.
The crowd is getting quite angry toward Rob Dibble. Bench is going to go out and talk to him.
He's out.
Bench has told him to get the hell out of here. Bench is
going to pitch. It's switching batteries.
20-4.
Battery made switching. And Dibble goes behind the plate, and Johnny Bench goes on the mound. This is the first.
Bench, see, the problem is Dibble had no arc whatsoever to his pitch.
Have you ever seen Johnny Bench pitch? I don't know when they moved Johnny Bench to third base in his later years, and that was an embarrassment.
Yeah, the Bench is now on the mound. Pete Rose is at third. Ron Oster is at
Now, wasn't
short.
Danny Dreesen the first baseman at the time of the Reds? They could have put Bench at first, maybe to keep his career going.
Dreesen took over in 1977.
Is that the inning now?
They had the 10-run rule, and they said that's it.
10-run rule?
10-run rule. It's now the bottom of the 6th. Billy Cunningham, Andy Furman. We have an umpire coming over here with a ruling.
Let's get him on.
It's he said the 10-run rule.
That's the game. Is that the game?
It can't be.
I don't know. Both teams have gone to their respective dugouts, and they're shaking hands as if to say the game might be.
No, I don't think so. That was the 10-run rule, and it's 8:33. Let's continue with more on 700 WLW.
Listening to Pete Rose's Farewell to Cinergy on 700 WLW.
Andy, this is the last at bat for Pete Rose. Crowd's on his feet. The flashes are flashing right now, and it's the bottom of the 6th, 19-4 the score.
Pete Rose is single to left field. In his last at bat at Riverfront Stadium, Pete Rose is single, and the fastball thousands go. It's the bottom of the sixth. Never again will Pete Rose bat at Riverfront Stadium, Andy, and we were here to see it. How about that? Look at the flashball. And still, who's left the stadium? No one. No one. And now Rob Dibble batting left-handed. Batting left-handed. I can't recall ever watching him bat as a red light. Can you? And if he takes the ball that he hit to left field and pushes it into the stands. Well, that'll be on eBay tomorrow for $3,000. Signed by Pete. Rob Dibble was batting your favorite. Look, a pop-up to Steve Garvey. Rob Dibble is out. Joe Marge, come on, little Joe.
No cheering from the press box.
No. Well, Rob Dibble is a rather unpopular figure here in this stadium. He has that scowl on his face. He's upset. He's mad at himself, and he lighten up. It's a fun game. Fun. It's Pete's night. It's Pete. And Joe Morgan, the chicken wing is flapping. How do you flip the chicken wing in a softball game? There he goes. He did it again. Pop up, down the line. He struggled. It falls in. Joe Morgan singles to right. Steve Yeager throws the back in. Well, the Legends have something going. That was a 10th hit for them, and they have runners now first and second with one out. Andy, when have we ever seen this situation? You have Pete Rose at second, Joe Morgan at first, and Johnny Bench at the plate. And Bench is getting up left-handed now. But he can't hit right-handed, so he better hit left-handed. And on deck, and notice pitching, Dave Parker. Dave Parker is pitching. And Tony Perez is on deck.
Well, he's got back to the righty now.
In fact, he's got to hit the ball. Don't call it. Ball one to John Bench. John is very, very free-spirited, enjoying himself, as is the mayor of Riverfront. Here it comes. Here's a shot. A shot. That should be. Well, he got the ball airborne. Hit it right out the center. He's going to tag. He's tagging. No play. Oh, head first. Head first. Pete Rose. He's going down. Pete Rose, head first slide, 61-year-old in the third. Pete Rose, I don't believe it, that was worth the price of admission. Pete Rose come up into the catch, hang up, head first, belly flop, into third base. His crossbow is great. Oh, Andy. Even Paul O'Neill's going nuts. Standing ovation. Still on their feet. Standing ovation, and who's batting? Tony Perez with Morgan at first, Rose at third, belly flop and slide, tagged up on a fly ball to center, one head first into third like he did, and the big dog hits a ground ball, booted, and Pete Rose scores. Pete Rose scores, possibly the last run for Red at Cinergy Field. Look at this, the Big E, he's bowing down in his honor, Pete Rose. Pete, oh God, I love this. God, I love this. Forgive me, God, but I love this. Now listen to this. Joe Morgan is at second. Tony Perez is at first, and batting is Paul O'Neill, and on deck is Eric Davis. Way back. It's in the ballpark. O'Neill. Well, he always had warning track power. Let's continue with more. Billy Cunningham on 700 WLW. In the books, 19-5 All-Stars under the Legends, and the announced crowd tonight. Tell us what it is, Will. 41,092. A coincidence? Perhaps, maybe fate. Maybe God has determined that this city will always remember Pete Rose. But we're now at the top of the seventh, Andy. It's 19-5. The National League All-Stars are kicking some serious butt right now. And John Tudor is just flown out to left field, but how about when that was announced, the camera went to Pete Rose at third base, who waved his hand in gratitude to all the 41,092 that showed up for tonight's event. And Andy, who's left? Nobody has left.
No one's left.
Johnny Bench is pitching. Johnny Bench is pitching to Gary Carter.
Let's recap, however, what happened this weekend with OSU UC, the 3 games of Reds here in this ballpark, and this to cap it off. What do we have to look forward to now? Think about that. We have to wait another 32 years for a new ballpark? This is tremendous.
I don't know, Andy, because we got it all done in about 4 days. And sadly, the number one most exciting event, in my opinion, was the UC Ohio State game, and right on its heels is this. Maybe this is number one.
Well, this in my mind is number one because you can always see UC play football.
Not Ohio State.
Well, wait.
But these are the 2 events. The 3 Reds games were lousy, and the Bengals game was a joke. And so the 2 events that I think are lighting up the crowd right now is this one at Ohio State UC. But that was a Columbus crowd. That wasn't a Cincinnati crowd. 41-0-92 show up, and Pete Rose scored the final run for the Reds in Riverfront Cinergy Field.
Well, let's hope it's not the final one.
Well, I don't think the way this team plays, they're going to score any more runs.
Let's see what Vince Coleman does against Johnny Bench, because Coleman hit a home run his last time up.
You know, Johnny Bench has done a great job pinch hitting. Would you agree? I mean coming into as a relief pitcher, Johnny Bench has shut him down, Marge.
He really has.
Dibble threw everything flat. Bench understands you got to put some height underneath the ball. Ryan Sandberg just roped one to Paul O'Neill in right. Gary Carter barely makes it to second. Little Joe Morgan is still at second base. Bench is pitching. Pete Rose is at third. And Rob Dibble is catching. The big dog, Tony Perez, Hall of Famer, is at first. Hall of Famers out here right now. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 playing for the Reds. And I would think that for the other team, Steve Carlton's a Hall of Famer. Ryan Sandberg is a future Hall of Famer. Dave Parker batting now ought to be a Hall of Famer. Right. Mike Schmidt is a Hall of Famer. There are 7 actual Hall of Famers on this field at the Cinergy Field tonight. Johnny Bench is on the mound. The count now is 2 balls, no strikes, and there's 2 out. Parker, watch it, coming our way. Parker, nice catch. Very nice catch. First base dugout. Very nice catch.
He's a souvenir for life.
I would think if Johnny Bench had pitched earlier, they wouldn't have scored that many runs. Dave Parker reaches out, hits a 7-iron. Oh my God! He legs it out,
and that's tough for him to do at this stage.
Good legs. It was a sand wedge that just impaled itself near first base and spun away.
Well, the All-Stars with that hit have 29 hits on the night.
You know, Dave Parker ought to put his stomach in a wheelbarrow to make it go to first a little more quickly. Mike Schmidt grounds out to Johnny Bench. Force out at home. Back to first, double play. The Reds are out of the inning. Andy, let's go to the bottom of the 7th on 700 WLW.
The Pete Rose Farewell to Cinergy on 700 WLW.
Well, Andy, at 8:45 on this cool and wonderful September night, the Redlegs find themselves in difficult waters. 19 runs, 29 hits for the National League All-Stars. The Reds have but 5 runs and 11 hits. We're watching an offensive juggernaut, mainly at the expense of one Rob Dibble.
They just shut up.
Holy moly!
Almost took Parker's glove off, Eric Davis.
Eric Davis almost killed Dave Parker. Oh my! Oh my!
Well, if the Redlegs are going to make a run at it, this is the inning to do it. They have George Foster up now.
You got Foster, Oster, you got the meat of the Reds lineup.
You got some youth also.
Well, Foster is hit it deep to left, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. That's 1 out. Eric Davis acts like he's going to tag up, but goes. But Eric Davis looks like he could play right now, as does George Foster.
Yeah.
Both of those gentlemen are in very good shape. And now coming out of the Reds dugout, I think Ron Oster is giving his bat over to Dave Concepcion. Dave Concepcion is now batting. He started off at shortstop, and then Mr. Perfect. Hall of Fame credentials, I think, without question.
No doubt about it. I think if he would have played in a larger market, he'd be in.
No question. The Reds need now, Andy, to mount a furious rally. By the way, at the conclusion of the game, there's going to be a little ceremony in the middle of the field involving the public dress announcer and Pete Rose, which I think we're going to carry for you.
I think we should. There's a base hit on the right side.
Dave Concepcion.
Not moving too quickly,
well, not as sharply as he moved in the 70s.
Not fleet of foot, you'd say. He's getting a runner, actually.
Now, Ron Oster's going in. The run for Davey, who's limping off.
These guys will be hurt for a couple of days, don't you think?
I think so. Mr. Perfect, Tom Browning.
Is this the way you want to remember these guys, though, in a sense? Because you grew up watching Davey.
Yes.
It is?
It is. Because, Tom Browning is going to hit a high fly ball, which may turn out to be a sacrifice fly. E comes in from third very easily, and Ron Oster goes from first to second.
We're only down 13 now.
Eric Davis. Eric Davis joining us now. You may have the honor, Eric, of being the last Reds ball player to score a run at Riverfront Cinergy Field. What are your feelings about that, if any?
Well, actually, I hope I don't. Because we're down 19-6, so we need a whole lot of more runs. If I do,
a lot more.
Yeah, it would be fantastic.
Ground ball, Chris Sabo out. Ball game concluded. 19-6. Is it 7-inning game? Is that it?
Yes, it's definitely 7-inning game.
It's over.
Yeah, it is.
Can't go any out of gas, or what?
No, actually, I feel fantastic. You look beautiful, though.
I said you can keep playing.
Yeah, but I just don't like to travel too. If I could go without spring training, I'd be all right.
That's it?
That's it.
Eric Davis, if somebody told you still live in California, that 41,000 would show up on a softball game night, would you believe that?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Well, because of the fact that, quote-unquote, baseball people don't think that Pete is the person that he is, but because the person that he is, this shows you, where he stands as far as the history of baseball, not just here in Cincinnati, but all over the country.
Do you think he belongs in the Hall of Fame?
If Pete Rose doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, it shouldn't be a Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much.
I didn't like that.
Eric Davis,
Thank you.
My pleasure.
You're the best. Good. You're always ever home in Cincinnati. Eric Davis, number 44. I'm going to take a short break, and then I think there's going to be a presentation on the field. Right now, several of the media types are hands and knees collecting dirt at the home plate, including one Wildman Walker is at home plate on his hands and knees collecting dirt. Wildman Walker is collecting dirt at home plate. It's unbelievable. Let's take a short break. When we continue, we'll have more festivities live from Cinergy on 700 WLW.
The pitch is swung on. Change hit in the air to deep right. It may go. It will.
If you swing the bat, you're dangerous.
And I mean a real collision.
There it is. Get out. Get out. All right.
27 outs in a row. And it is pandemonium here at Riverfront Stadium.
It's a final of 19-6, but I think people are going to go away very happy and pleased. They got what they wanted. Pete had a hit. They saw them in the All-Stars winning over the Red Legends 19-6 tonight as the ball players from both teams congregated the mound, and they're taking pictures, media people out there as well. So I do believe there's going to be some sort of an announcement made by Pete. I think something's going to happen tonight. Okay, let's go to John Wall. Gentlemen, on behalf of baseball fans everywhere, you've been a part of history tonight. Give these legends of Major League Baseball and yourselves for making these memories a big round of applause one more time. It's my pleasure to introduce to you one more time to say farewell to Cinergy Field. You know this is number 14. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Peter Edward Rose. Being here, I just have to say, you're the reason the Big Red Machine was the baseball team that we were. We thank you. Now let's don't forget today's Reds when they open that building next door, because Cincinnati's got to get back to the World Series. And a great thank you to all of our great legends here. Let's get some older guys next time when we're playing back. Well, we can't say how great it was for all of us, all of the legends of Cincinnati Reds that played here and been a part of this. And to share this night with all of you, and of course with Pete coming back, to share this special moment with all of us.
to take this field every night for all of you and to play with the guys that I had the great opportunity of participating with and all the Reds that followed us. It's a great way to end Riverfront Cinergy Field with this you fans getting the opportunity to have one good time again, to laugh, to enjoy, and one more head-first slide.
Tonight for anything. It's been a pleasure for me to get with my old teammates again, to see the guys that we fought against all those years, and just to have a good time. And of course, to be here with Pete on the last day here at Riverfront Stadium. We have a lot of memories here. Someone asked me today if I could pick my favorite memory, and I said no. When you play with as many great players as I played with, they showed you something special just about every night. So I had a great time, and again, it'll always be Riverfront to me.
Morgan, Bench, Perez, and Rose, all four, right by the pitcher's mound, speaking to the fans, just concluded. And there was love today as they were then, as much or maybe more so.
Andy, it's the Mount Rushmore of the Cincinnati Reds. Fireworks going off now. Now fireworks, and all the players are now slowly leaving the field. And I love to see Eric Davis and Paul O'Neill and Tom Browning and Dave Parker. But to have the four icons of the Reds, Rose, Morgan, Bench, and Perez together for the last time. Hopefully not ever. Hopefully something at Red American Ballpark will happen. But I think that concludes our event here. The fireworks go off overhead. 42,000, 41,092. And I don't think anyone's left the stadium yet. And this is a
still on their feet. You're talking about having left. They're still on their feet, and I think they want an encore, so to speak. They want the players back on. They won last time because they know when they head for the exit ramps now, that's it. There ain't going to be no more events in this place.
Why aren't they leaving?
They're chanting for more. If they can pick that up, they're chanting for more. They want the players, and they're not leaving. They want to see one more time, one more.
I don't know what you've seen Pete Rose slide into third base on his belly, and you've seen Pete Rose get a hit. You've seen Joe Morgan, Tony Perez, Johnny Bench, and Johnny Bench was a class act throughout the entire thing. And at that ceremony, when you saw the affection between those four, the Mount Rushmore of Reds baseball, that has never been duplicated anywhere, I think, in America. And as Pete Rose said, Cincinnati needs to have a World Series champion once again, and hopefully the current crop can make it happen.
And if there was anything accomplished tonight, I think a sidebar story perhaps would be the fact that to put to bed the story of the Pete Rose, Johnny Bench tete-a-tete, hugging and mutual admiration between the two of them. And Pete was with us as we started the show at 6 o'clock, having nothing but praise for John, and John came right back right now talking about Pete.
Well, if you look around there, Andy, people aren't leaving, and they're standing. And the fireworks are overhead, but John Walton, the public address announcer, said that's it. So, Andy, let's wrap it up from Cinergy Field. The All-Stars win 19-6 in a night that will never be forgotten. This stadium now will blow itself up, I guess, on December the 29th. But as far as Reds baseball fans are concerned, this is one of the greatest nights in the history of Reds baseball because of the number of people here, because of the personages of the players, because of the Big Red Machine 1976 reunion, and the competition was incredible. And Andy, look around. The fans don't want to leave, but I think at one point we will have to. Pete is now walking
from home plate to outside. He has one red rose in his hand. He has his glove in his hand, raised up to the fans.
On with his daughter, who sang the national anthem.
He's saying goodbye. Goodbye, Pete. Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. It was a pleasure.
The Pete Rose farewell to Cinergy is now concluded on 700.
Tens of thousands of Pete Rose fans filled Cinergy Field tonight to see the Hit King take to the turf one more time. We get more from 700 WLW's Bridget Doherty.
All weekend you've been hearing about the last games at Cinergy Field, but for many fans tonight it's about honoring their favorite players. This Deer Park Reds fan says it's a trip down memory lane since he grew up watching some of the same players on the field. Each Reds fan received a Pete Rose bobblehead for coming out tonight, and many players signed autographs before the game. At Cinergy Field, Bridget Doherty, News Radio 700 WLW.
News Radio 700 WLW. This is in-depth team coverage.
And appearing on Sports Talk with Andy Furman and Bill Cunningham tonight, Pete Rose says no matter where he goes, his heart stays in Cincinnati.
You know, you make mistakes and you pay for your mistakes. And this is one town, this is one group of people that are willing to let me go on my life.
Correct.
They understand that I made mistakes. I'm sorry I made the mistakes, and they're letting me go on my life. And they continue to like me because I don't hide from any questions or anything like that.
And more than 40,000 fans paid $20 or $30 for tickets to see the Reds All-Stars take on the Major League legends, and the Reds lost the game 19-6.
He was known as Charlie Hustle. He holds the Major League